Welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamescast, the Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show. I am one of your co-hosts, Andrew. I make this show Midori, and I am joined tonight by the tech guru, Agent Vincent.
Hello, everyone.
And we have a special guest, Jersey representative, Denny.
What up?
Unfortunately, Jersey Tom could not be here tonight. All he said he would be indisposed, I think.
Indisposed is what he said, yes.
So maybe drunk? Is that what we're thinking?
That sounds exactly what he's doing. As
Pretty
long as
much.
I've known him and the words that he uses when he talks about those things, that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Hope he's having a good time. If something related to football is like a thing, I guess. You know, football, getting drunk.
Yeah, the Giants played today, so he might have been at the
There
game.
it is. There it
Yeah.
is. There it is.
There it is.
I saw
Now we know.
that the record was broken for longest field goal today.
Was it?
It was 64 yards previously, and can't remember the guy's name. He's considered like one of the best ever, if not the best ever. And today he broke the record with a 66-yard field goal.
Wow.
It bounced off the bar.
Getting close
Literally.
to that 69.
Yeah, man. Could you imagine?
Yeah, 66-yard field goal today.
I feel like if they have the opportunity to do 69, they just have to take it.
Yeah.
You know,
They have
like
to.
like they should. They just have to take it.
Oh,
It looks like
shit,
we
yeah.
might have gotten the gun follows out of our system. Maybe they've
Yeah.
slowed down. We're waiting on Gun 69 to show up.
I'm
Then he
waiting.
might create the account. For some reason, we're
Yeah.
getting follow botted tonight. But hopefully those have stopped. We'll do our best to navigate chats around that if it continues to come in. Store coming in with it. I like 69. We got a couple subs coming in here. Of course, Vince coming in with another tier 3. Store coming in with a tier 3. And Duroc
Ooh.
coming in with a tier 3.
That's
So
a
that's
triple
amazing.
triad.
Yeah, triple triad.
There
I
you
like
go.
that.
There you go.
Are you in the Final Fantasy 8? Where'd that come from?
Triple triad's also in 14. It's a
Oh,
huge
that's
thing.
true.
14.
It is. I forgot all about that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would think you would say like Triforce or something, but that makes sense.
No, triple triad, man. Should be like a little score thing that you do for the chat. If that
Yeah.
ever happens.
We should
Next time.
somehow create triple triad, like a mini game in chat somehow.
My
That'd be
God.
amazing.
Next level triple triad.
But yeah, thank you for all the support coming in. You guys are amazing. If you enjoyed the show at any point tonight, of course, to the newbies, please follow us live at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Follow Vince as well at Agent Vincent 4756 on Twitch. And even though Tom is not here, he is Jersey_Tom. You can get their links in the chat with their respective commands. If you're watching tonight's episode as an archive, subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/The Level Up Network. And if you want to go above and beyond, if you really enjoy the show, you can do what many have already done in the chat. You could come in with a Twitch sub, you could do a cheer, you could do a tip, you could go tier 3 like the producers have tonight, which is so amazing. And on top of that, Next Level Gamescast after show is a possibility tonight. We'll do up to 1 hour. Same as usual. If we get $30 in tips tonight, we'll do 30 minutes after show. If we get $60 in tips tonight, we'll do a full hour of after show. Vince, I know, is willing to do that with me tonight. Denny, you're
Yep.
welcome to stick around if you would like, if we have after show.
Level up
I know
after
you've
dark.
done that.
Let's
Yeah.
go, baby.
You've done that before, so you're
Yes.
welcome to stick around for after show if we want to make that happen tonight. And lastly, NLG, always a very interactive talk show. We utilize Discord as best we can. Join us at discord.gg/The Level Up Network. Become a part of the community even when we are not live. Before we get into some exciting stuff, just want to ask Vincent, Denny here, how you guys doing tonight? How was your week?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything exciting happen?
It worked.
This is the most exciting thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
of
Worked.
our
I
weeks.
was in the office all week, so I was up dealing with IT shit in the office. So that was fun.
Yeah. This is a jam-packed show tonight, I have to say.
It is.
We have a lot to discuss. I feel like I've been working like late hours the past couple of weeks trying to get everything together for the show tonight because we got a lot of stuff to go through. Not even just stories, but I have my pub tank tonight, which I put a lot of work into. Excited for my video game pitch. But on top of that, it is the end of season 3, you guys. This is the last episode of season 3, which means it's your last chance to earn SP, become one of the top ranked players of the season in score, which combines, of course, your SP and your hours. Keep in mind that we do have our community goal from season 3 that you guys can activate. If you all pull together your seasonal points for 300,000, you can permanently activate an expired merch item from past seasons, or even from this season. If you want to permanently activate this season's classic weapons merch, you can do so. You guys just got to pull together those seasonal points and activate that. But let's get into season 4. Let's talk about what we've put together here. I think it's a really good one. Let's go over to the browser. Here we go. Season 4 begins on October 1st. As you can see, it'll go until December 31st, closing out this first full year of Next Level Gamescast. And we got a really cool merch item, in my opinion, maybe the best we've ever done, that goes along with our seasonal theme. I'll just tell you right now, is villains. Unfortunately, Tom isn't here tonight. He's one of the ones that really pioneered this season theme. We're going to do villains. And with that, what better villain in video games or out of video games in current pop gen culture than Thanos? So we decided to do, instead of the Infinity Gauntlet, we've got the Gaming Gauntlet. And what's really cool about it is, in replacement of the Infinity Stones, we have classic, iconic video game elements like the Sonic Ring, like the Heart Container from Zelda, Blue Shell from Mario Kart, Command Materia from Final Fantasy VII, continue on with even the Green Rupee from Final Fantasy VII, or from Zelda, sorry. And we have to get in something from Next Level Gamescast, so we've incorporated our little badgie, our biddy, some people call it, from our logo for Next Level Gamescast. So what's really cool as well is on the back of the shirt, you have the logo disintegrating of Next Level Gamescast from that snap. So it's really cool. I'm really happy with how it turned out. A big kudos to Fiverr and everybody that we've had help us out on Fiverr over the past several seasons in creating these really cool designs. So
no, it's awesome.
You'll be able to pick that up starting on October 1st. But on top of that, we are going to do 2 giveaways tonight as well, which I'm going to start right now. So let's do 2 giveaways for this element. I hope this doesn't take away. No, it doesn't. Okay. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to start a giveaway. It'll last for 2.5 hours. I will award this to 2 people that get in on it. So you should do that. Once it starts here, you should see a command in the chat that says !raffle, I believe. Let's wait for it to post. Come on now. You can do it. Oh, come on now, Streamlabs. Don't be annoying on me here.
You're too busy blocking the 48 guns that just followed.
Yeah, I think it's not working for some reason. All right, let me cancel that one. Let's try it again. Doesn't seem like it posted in chat.
No, it didn't.
Sometimes logging out of Streamlabs and logging back in fixes it. So I'm gonna try that right now. Hold on one sec, guys.
It's all good.
And yeah, this will be for a t-shirt, just make it clear. Not like a hoodie or anything like that, but we will have a mug as well available to you guys with that design for season 4. So
that mug will be cool.
Yes, to those that like collecting mugs. Let's try this one more time here, starting a giveaway.
Got my mug right here. So
nice.
Let's fucking go.
And let's try this again. Come on, chats. Post in there. Come on.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
I might have to use a Streamlabs chatbot because it doesn't seem like it wants to post for some reason.
Do it.
No,
do it.
It's not posting.
Do it.
All right, we're just gonna have to do it live. All right, so let's go to Streamlabs chatbot. We'll use that giveaway system. I think you can do 2 giveaways through that as well. So giveaway, this will be, we'll make the command !raffle, and it'll be for a Gaming Gauntlet t-shirt. I will make this, okay, yeah, you can make it a maximum of 2 hours, so this will be a 2-hour giveaway available to everybody. And I think that is it. All right, so open giveaway. I hope that posted in the chat for you guys.
Yep,
it did. Type in !raffle to get in on that, and you should be good to go for the next 2 hours. So going back to the rest of season 4, our seasonal segments, we wanted to kind of dip back into the legacy of our talk shows and bring back an oldie. That will be question of the week, now question of the month. So each month of this season, we will post that on our Discord in a hashtag question of the month channel. And we will also post it on Twitter as well to try and get some responses there. You'll have the full month to post there on that channel. All we ask is that you don't utilize it for anything else. It's not for discussion. It's really just for you guys to post your response to the question of the month. So look forward to that. We'll on the very first day of October, we will give you the first question of the month. And of course, we will read off a handful of those live on the episode, and we will discuss them and share our feelings on the question of the month. Our theme, as I said, is villains. We will give you all of the ranks, but there's a lot of goodies in there. Let me actually pull some of those up right now, just to read off a few. You kind of start off with the Koopa Troopa, the Dry Bones, you know, the Binky Inky, Pinky and Clydes. But you go up to things like the Turks and individual members of the Turks, up to things like Little Sister as a follower level, Big Daddy as a subscriber level, going up towards the classics like Bowser, and even Bowsette is in there. So there's lots of good ranks of villains.
Can we stop? Can we stop once we get to a rank? Can we just like stop upgrading and just stay right?
I've done that for Mel in the past. I'm not sure I want to start that as a pattern because it is work on my end. But yeah, you know, maybe if you can convince me, maybe you can give me something in return. Maybe
Pitch.
Yeah,
that's that got sexual pretty fast.
Yeah. Going over to redemptions. Once again, you can permanently activate a merch item. We're gonna half the value this season to only 150,000 seasonal points because it's going to be exclusive to permanently activating the gaming gauntlet so that it never goes away from our merch store. So if you guys really like that item, you can make it a permanent addition to our merch store by pulling together your SP this season. Other collectibles include Sephiroth's Masamune. You got Dracula's coffin in there, Pyramid Head. Going down, you do have Bowsette's Super Crown. Only 3 of those available. The End's Parrot from Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, Bison Dollars, which is actually from the movie, not from the video game, but still, you know, made a little bit of an exception there. So some good ones. And Clip Contest returns. Once again, we're going to lower the amount of SP it earns you since, honestly, there aren't a lot of people contributing to Clip Contest. But we'll continue it into Season 4. And
hey, I won once.
Yep, and the winner of each month Clip Contest will get 1,000 seasonal points. So there you have it, you guys. Season 4. Ooh. Of Next Level Gamescast. I will announce what the prizes are. I'm still thinking on it. I don't want to say it right now because I was kind of brainstorming. I will announce what the prizes for the number 1, number 2, and number 3 score earners of Season 3 will be as we approach the very end of this month. I'll probably announce it on the next stream with Kana on the 29th. So you guys will get your prizes, of course. As of right now, top score. Let's see. Number 1, 2, and 3, we have Evil Resonance in the number 1 spot with 25,000. Miss Mel, number 2, and Empyrean Rose, number 3, with almost 22,000. Wow. Very nice. So if you 3, could hold on to those spots, you will get your prizes at the end of the season. Congratulations for making it this far. All right, with that, what do we got next here? What are we moving on to? Yes.
Yeah. Can we just skip this? Actually, we can just.
We cannot skip this, Vince. We cannot skip this. Unfortunately, we do have to acknowledge a painful error in last month's episode.
We're going to describe it as painful. Really?
Yes, this month's fake fans, you guys. Of course, you can get on our Discord at discord.gg/the Level Up Network. Go to the hashtag Fake Fans channel, and you can let us know what we got wrong in our episodes of Next Level Gamescast. And unfortunately, on the last episode, Derek wrote in and he said, "I am sorry, Lord Vincent, but I must call you a fake fan. Half-Life Alyx was released on March 23rd, 2020, not in the year 2018. Way off, Vince. Way off." I know with COVID, many have lost the ability to tell time or know what day or year it is. Nonetheless, Vince, you are number 1, and I cannot wait until you are hosting Next Level Gamescast. I don't know where this mutiny keeps coming from, but okay. I know you didn't ask for this, but bang! You think it is a good response. You think I am making good grammar choices. I can mess this up if I wanted to. I hope you respect that. I'm not sure what the inside joke is there. I'm guessing there is one.
It's an audio hook on my channel. That 9Fox made, and yeah, why are we here right now?
Suffer, Vince,
because we must messed up. That's why
we must make it official. We are now 0 episodes without error.
I told everyone you're gonna get me on years. You're gonna get me on years.
And that means that the 9Fox gets the jackpot, 5 episodes worth of points at 1,000 250 SP. Way to go, Derek. You guys can do the same. Get on our Discord. Let us know if we got anything wrong in tonight's episode. For every episode that we get nothing wrong, 250 seasonal points gets added to the pot.
Can't wait to continue this tradition of 0 episodes without error from this one.
I think we've now done it twice now, where we've gotten to 5 episodes and then we lose after the 5th episode. So that's the record so far, is 5 episodes without error. Although we get something wrong in every single episode, it's just you guys don't call us out on it.
Yeah, exactly.
100% we get something wrong in every episode. And with that, we get to move on to one of my favorite segments, and we get to introduce somebody new to it with Denny this month in
Hell yeah.
NLG's Got Game, also known as, at this point, just Video Game Jeopardy. You might as well call it. But I'm so happy with this that I don't think I really want to change it. I just love this segment, focusing on Jeopardy. So if you guys would please jump on over to playfactal.com.
Oh, I'm there already.
Oh,
okay. I'm the potato.
You're the potato? Okay.
I'm there. I'm there with my stoic expression, ready to go.
Okay. Oh, a potato.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, let's jump on over. Let's bring up the browser here. Here we go.
I need to minimize that screen here.
Let me put you guys down in the bottom left, I think. I think that's a little better for this. Okay, so Season 3, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamescast, Jeopardy. We have the same categories, in all honesty. I felt after going through it, I was like, you know what? Keep the same categories. Music of PlayStation Part 3, Video Game Developer 4. Let me explain to Denny. He actually is new, so
yes.
This is very new to him. Music of PlayStation Part 3. So, Denny, we will play 30 seconds of a song from a video game that is very closely associated with PlayStation.
Okay.
Either it was timed exclusive or 100% exclusive. It's going to be something that is definitely tied to the legacy of PlayStation. Okay,
so avoid that category. Got it.
Really? Okay. Oh, not good. Video game developer. That is where I will say a video game title, and you will simply buzz in and tell me the primary developer of that video game.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Who's the boss? I will say a final, or actually just I scratch that. I've now made it just a boss in general, not just final boss. A boss from a video game will be said. You'll have to buzz in and tell me what video game that boss belongs to.
Okay.
Category number 4, who am I? So I will read off 4 factoids about a character. I will ask you, when you choose that category, to close your eyes, not look at the factoids, because I'm going to read them off slowly, and they become more obvious as I go through. So if you go and read the final factoid, it's going to help you out a lot. So I'm going to ask you guys to please close your eyes and listen to me. Focus on my voice.
Oh.
I'll get real.
I'll
This is
get
the
real
ASM
sexy.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
get
the
real
ASMR part of the
close
channel.
for you, all right?
And finally, fan favorite. I'm not sure if you've ever seen this, Denny.
I have.
Okay, blurred box art.
Yeah.
Simple as it sounds. Very pixelated box art. Buzz in if you know what that box art actually is. Vince, you won last time,
I did.
but Denny
did
wasn't
win.
here. How about we let Denny take the reins?
That was actually what I was going to suggest. I want Danny to go first.
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Denny, you
Okay.
have control. Go ahead.
All right. I will take Drew, who's the boss, for 300.
Who's the boss for 300? Queen Goma. That goes to Denny.
What is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time?
That is correct.
Way to go, Denny.
Good start. A very good start. Denny retains control. Go ahead, Denny.
Let's do blurred box art for 300.
Ooh, Denny.
What is Final Fantasy X?
That is correct.
Oh, that was weird. That did not load for me until just now.
Oh
was
no! Oh no!
That was weird. It's all
Better
good.
up your speeds there, Vince.
Yes.
Who you
Gigabyte
got?
speed's
Verizon?
not
You
enough.
got Comcast?
I got Spectrum. Jeez.
Spectrum? There you go.
There you
Gonna
go.
have to
There you go.
write a very negative letter. All right, Denny, go ahead. You're up.
You know what? Let's do music of PlayStation for 300.
Okay, here we go. Listen in. Nothing, huh? 7 seconds. Denny's going to go for it. Go ahead, Denny.
What is Final Fantasy 9?
A very good try. Unfortunately, incorrect. It is from Dragon Quest.
Oh, wow.
And I would have taken any Dragon Quest because that really is just the main theme of the franchise.
Yeah.
Still in the lead with 300. Go ahead, Denny. You're still in control.
Let's go. Who's the boss for 500?
Who's the boss for 500? The daily double worth $1,000. Lady Comstock. Who's up? Nope, somebody's got to buzz in. Denny.
What is BioShock Infinite?
That is right. $1,000 goes to Denny. That's a big one. Way to go, Denny. Go ahead. You're still in control.
All the noises like made me almost shit myself. Let's do a video game developer for 200.
Okay. We've got Ori and the Blind Forest. Who is the developer?
Moon Studios.
Vince. Oh, yes. Go ahead. It is Moon Studios. That's correct. And Vince takes control. He's on the board with $200. Go ahead, Vince.
Let's do video game developer for 400.
Angry Birds. Vince.
Rio, I want to say. It's Rio Games, I think.
That is incorrect.
It is incorrect. Okay.
Denny, do you want to take a shot?
No, move on.
Okay. It is Rovio. Close. Very close, Denny. Vince, I'm sorry. But go ahead. You're still in control. I can't give it to you. Rovio, I'm sorry. I can't give that to you. You were going with the parrot movie. Okay, the CGI parrot movie.
God bless it. All right.
All those damn birds!
Let's do video game developer for 300.
All right, Mirror's Edge. Vince.
Who is Dice?
That is correct.
Let's do video game developer for 500.
Fez. We're talking about an individual person here, by the way.
Can I get last name?
No, I'm sorry. I need the full name.
Vince, if you tell me the last name, I might know the first name.
Vince, go ahead.
Bill Fish.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Fish. Could have said Polytron as well.
I was like, I couldn't remember that one.
There you go. That helped a lot. $600 for Vince. Go ahead. You're still in control.
Let's attempt blurred box art for 200.
Vince.
Mortal Kombat 11.
That is correct. You're still in control. Go ahead.
Let's do blurred box art for 400.
Vince.
Dishonored.
That is correct. And now 1,200. It's becoming a close game. You're still in control.
Let's do 500 blurred box art.
Denny.
What is NBA Street Jam?
I am going to need a little better than that.
NBA Street?
It's very close. It gives Vince an opportunity here. No. Okay. I needed NBA Street Volume 2. I'm sorry. It's the second one.
How dare they make
I'm
two
sorry.
games?
It's got to be Volume 2. I'm sorry.
How dare they make 2 games?
How dare they make 2
Go
games?
ahead, Vince.
Let's close out blurred box art.
Okay.
What is Sonic the Hedgehog?
That is correct.
Nice job, Denny. Nice job.
Still a close game. You're in control. Denny.
Let's do Who Am I for 300.
Close your eyes. How much would you go for?
300.
300. Okay.
Okay, closing my eyes.
I have been in 7 games in the series I belong to. I have 12 siblings, but 11 of them died. My eyes are often not visible, but are typically red when they are. I can't die. Eight seconds. Wow, I'm actually very surprised. Okay, the answer is Albert Wesker.
Oh.
Right? I mean, come on now, guys. Come on. Denny, I think, Denny, you're in control, right? Go ahead.
Let's do Who Am I for 400, because that was very soothing to listen to.
Okay. My character has been seen in many colors, including yellow, black, orange, silver, and white. My favorite food is melons. My character... Go ahead, Denny.
Who is Yoshi?
That is correct.
Nice.
Right.
Way to
Way
go,
to go.
Denny.
There you go. Takes the lead with 1,300. You're in control, Denny.
Let's do music of PlayStation for 200.
All right, here we go. I swear to God, guys.
Yeah, I knew this entire category is gonna be a moot point for me.
Son of a bitch, you guys. Come on. Bloodborne. Come on. Come the F on. All right. I'm very disappointed in you guys.
I don't commit to the music ones. I'm sorry. Even if I know it, I don't commit to it. It just
I was,
isn't
also,
gonna
I
happen.
was also too busy getting really pissed off playing that game to like pay attention to the music. So
I don't really commit unless
All
I
right.
instantly know it.
Danny, you're still in control.
who's the boss for 400?
All right. Ansem. That goes to Vince.
Kingdom Hearts.
That is correct.
Oh.
I had a moment there where I panicked. I was like, wait, hold up, time out.
It's all right. It's all right. You're in control, Vince.
Let's do who's the boss for 200.
Emerald Weapon.
Mm, mm.
This hurts me dearly.
Yeah,
No,
I don't,
I'm feeling like it's a trick question. This is why I'm like hesitant on it. All right, I'm doing it. Okay.
Oh, Vince.
I'm gonna say Final Fantasy VII.
That is correct.
Okay, I was worried there because I was like, hold up. Like,
Yes. All right, go ahead, Vince. Still in control.
let's close out who's the boss.
$100. Orphan of Kos. Denny.
what is Bloodborne?
There you go. You remember that?
Yeah, 'cause I stare at the fucking life bars the whole time I'm reading that.
Denny
I'll pay
takes
attention to
control.
Music.
Still a close match here. Denny, you're in control.
Let's do music of PlayStation for 400. Now I'm gonna do so bad in this entire category.
Oh,
14 seconds.
I want to commit to this, but I don't want to.
No, you're in the lead. I understand. All right, it is Sly Cooper and the Thieves.
I knew it. I was like, oh, god damn it.
All right, go ahead.
Let's do Who Am I for 500.
Who am I? I am considered the first companion to the hero of the franchise I belong to. I am only included in one game of the mainline series. I physically change color near secrets and near danger. My name is short for navigation, Denny.
Who is Navi from Legend of Zelda?
That is correct.
There you go, Denny.
Denny takes a short lead. $100. Go ahead.
Let's do video game developer for 100.
Fable.
Oh shit.
What is Lionhead Studios?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yep.
You're still in control.
Let's do music of PlayStation for 500. Nope. Not going for it.
Yeah, that one's a little bit tough. I'll
Not
admit.
going for it.
It is a Last Guardian.
Oh.
You guys play that? Either of you play Last Guardian?
No. I
Yeah,
didn't.
it's weird. I don't remember that score as well as I do like
Ooh, I love that
Shadow of the
score.
Shadow of the Colossus though. That's the thing. It's like I know more of Shadow of the Colossus score because Last Guardian I really didn't listen to very much.
Okay. Well, you should change that.
I know. Jesus.
Go ahead.
It's me, right?
Yep, you're in
Yeah, it's
control.
you.
Music of PlayStation for 100.
All right, this is the easiest one. Let's go, guys. Let's get one of these.
Nope.
Vince,
God of War.
gonna need a little more than that. Which God of War?
Really? You're gonna make me
Yes.
decide on that one?
Yes, I am. I'll give it to you if you get it.
I want to say 1.
I am sorry, it is God of War 2.
Really?
It is.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Really?
They have different.
Really?
They have different
Really?
themes. They have different themes. I'm sorry. God of War 1 has a different theme than God of War 2. There's still $300 left on the board, and you are down $300, Vince. This can all change. This can be tied up going into Final Factal. But Denny, you are in control. Which one are you going to go with here?
Who am I for 200?
Who am I? I am considered the mascot of the video game franchise I belong to. My actual first name is Marcus. I can be considered both a protagonist and a villain. I am an homage to It and the Joker.
Sweet Tooth.
There it is.
Ah, fuck.
Way to go, Vince. I didn't even see you buzzed in for some reason.
That's weird.
Way
Sorry.
to go. Down only 100, and you're in control, and it is for $100 on Who Am I?
Let's do it.
My first appearance in video games was in 1994. I have a fixation with superpowers, although I am considered a sidekick. Sorry, superheroes. As the sidekick, I am the more energetic, fast, and agile. I have been referred to as a nephew wannabe. All right. Nobody got it. It is Diddy Kong.
Oh, yeah, I would
Oh.
not have known.
It's all good.
I didn't know that there was an expanded universe where they explained that Diddy Kong likes superheroes.
Mm-hmm. This Final Factal, the category is racing games.
Oh, shit.
Vince has 1900. Denny has 2000. This is a very close match. So be careful with what you wager here.
Okay, do I have to put a wager and then click play now?
Yes, you have to put a wager in. I'm waiting on wagers. All right, Denny is in.
Wait, you have to put wagers in?
You can put in a 0 wager. Okay. And the question, or answer, I should say. This is the name of the final course in all Mario Kart video games. Denny is in. Vince is in. Denny says Rainbow Road. That is correct. And he wagered 2,000?
Mhm.
All
There you go.
2,000. Wow.
Look at that. Denny wins. Denny wins.
Impressive. The confidence. But let's see what Vince said. Also Rainbow Road, but he wagered 0.
Mm-hmm.
That was if Danny got it wrong, it was done.
You gotta bet the house on that.
No.
And
That saved me. It
those
saved
balls.
me before. Absolutely
Those
not.
balls. Both got it right though. Rainbow Road is correct, but the winner on his first ever NLG's Got Game Team Potato.
Team Potato, let's go.
Denny wins. A hell of a game. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna call bullshit on the God of War score thing. I'm mad now at this point.
Here's the thing. Saying God of War, you could have meant 2018 God of War. You could have meant 2004 God of War. I mean,
But I said 1 and 2 share a very similar theme. Like, it's ridiculously similar. 3 is different. 3 is completely different. I'll understand that one. 1 and 2, by my ear, if I remember right, they're very similar. But it's all good. It's all said and done.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Would you have changed your wager if it was different?
Probably a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe.
We'll see what happens. I told you, Denny. See, this is where you can get the whole roller
Hey,
coaster of
Denny.
Vince
Hey,
emotions.
Denny got screwed on NBA Street. You
did.
both suffered a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you
We'll
know,
be so
I
strict
am
next time.
I am a strict host.
But
all
this
right,
was, this
I have
was Team
high
Potato's
standards.
time to shine. So
I
know.
have high standards. All right, guys,
Uh-huh.
deal with it. All right.
Mhm.
Moving on. Let's switch over. Let's get video back up on screen because let us talk about what we've been playing this past month. Tom's actually not here, so I'm not sure what Denny's been doing, but I have been playing Mass Effect 2 and Kena Bridge of Spirits. Let's start with Mass Effect 2. I'm going to do kind of a quick thing here with Mass Effect 2. I liked it. I did. I thought it was considerably better than the first game. Characters were much more engrossing. Combat was much tighter. Getting rid of the Mako, traveling the universe, the way you did it in this one just was more satisfying. Scanning the planets, sucking them dry. I enjoyed all that. That was a good time. My disappointment with the game actually was that it didn't have more of an overarching story. The essence of Mass Effect 2 is that it's a fetch quest for allies. You get the ultimate enemy of the game, the collectors, and you get like a story around them, and it's like, all right, now you need to get strong enough to fight them. 30 hours of collecting people on your team with a couple of side missions in there that focus on the collectors. All right, we got all of our team. Let's go fight the collectors. Fight the collectors for 1 hour, game over. And I was just like, really? Like, this entire game was really just me collecting characters, and some of them I cared about, some of them I didn't. It was just, I would have liked a little bit more of a structured story that felt like it was proceeding throughout the entire game, as opposed to, this was kind of like Shadow of the Colossus in a bad way for me. Like, Shadow of the Colossus is this minimalistic game, right? Where you're fighting 16 Colossi. You have an opening story act, you have a middle story act, and you have a final story act. This was that. Instead of the Colossi being collected, it was, characters being collected, and you had a beginning cutscene, a middle cutscene, and an ending cutscene. It kind of felt like that, but Mass Effect is not minimalistic. I was expecting more of this strong story to be felt throughout. That all being said, a lot of great characters. A lot of those characters are really strong, and I'm looking forward to how the story will close for those characters. I could see myself liking the third game the most, actually.
Gross. Disgusting.
I have a feeling.
Disgusting.
I don't know. I just have a feeling I could like the third game the most. We'll have to wait and see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Strong words.
But I also have been playing Kena Bridge of Spirits, and wow, Ember Lab has an unbelievably promising future. For this game to be made by 15, 20 people, whatever it is, and to feel like a AAA title, really, honestly, from 99% of its perspective, it feels like a AAA title. It's the production values through the roof. It's crazy how good it looks. I just don't even understand it. And on top of that, I'm really surprised with how wide the game is. This is wide linear, but it feels very wide to me. Like, this is like a really engrossing, deep world, a lot of nooks and crannies to inspect, lots of little areas to go to, a little bit of a Metroidvania vibe here and there, where when you get the bow, it's like, oh, now I can go back to there and I can get to this location. It's much larger in scale than I was expecting for a $40 title that is considered the first indie game of this new studio that was, prior to that, really just a short film studio. The combat is also pretty tight. I'm a little surprised with how strong the combat is, and I'm not even that far. I don't even have a lot of abilities, but it feels good. It feels smooth. It's challenging on the boss battles, but not too challenging. I'm on normal mode, so it could get much more difficult if I wanted it to, but I'm feeling the right level of challenge, and I'm looking for, I'm going into tonight's show, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of wish there wasn't a show tonight so I could play more Kena, and that's a good sign, right? That I really am looking forward to the next stream with Kena Bridge of Spirits, so I can continue this journey and get into more of the story as well. Because from what I understand, I'm really very early on in the story, and I haven't gotten to the major emotional beats yet. But already with how it starts, this idea of sending spirits off to the afterlife, and you've got these two little boys and their brother needs to be sent forward, and you are the spirit guide. There's already an emotional gut punch being set up there, right? And I feel it. I'm ready for it, and I'm hoping that they stick that landing on this starting act and moving into what comes after it. I have a feeling that they are, because this is a team that I think prioritizes storytelling. I can see already, and that's why they are such a good fit for PlayStation, in my opinion. I have to imagine that PlayStation is keeping a very strong, keen eye on them. Rumors and speculation and assumptions right now are that their next game will once again be a PS5 exclusive, not cross-gen, but truly PS5 exclusive. And yeah, I could definitely see this becoming a future acquisition if they continue this path, and their next game looks super strong. They might even be picked up before that game comes out, right? So that they
Hmm.
can get ahead of their value increasing, if you know what I mean.
I
But
actually, yeah, I was going to say just real quick, I actually think they're going to be picked up quicker than anyone thinks.
yeah,
They fit too well within the PlayStation Studio support system to begin with, anyway, especially with it being an Unreal 4, or I mean, Unreal Engine developer. Um, it's just, it's weird. It's an interesting thing to see right now, you
yeah.
know?
You know, it's this cool amalgamation of a lot of different games, and some people have looked at that as a downside where it's like it's derivative, it doesn't have its own unique personality. But the way I look at it is this is a new studio that was trying to get into this, right? So they
Yeah.
probably were looking at their favorite games and they were taking this as sort of an homage to those, Zelda of course being one of them. But I feel a lot of Team Eco in here, a lot of Team Eco, a lot of Ori and the Blind Forest in there. It has a lot of these great games all sort of merged into one, and I could see their next game being more unique, being its own thing. But this one was their start, and I think it was a smart decision on their part to kind of just bring those ideas together and feel things out and figure out what they want to be. Um, if I had to give a couple of cons right now, it is oddly animation, like they are an animation studio, right? But you can tell that they took some shortcuts there, maybe because of COVID, maybe because they're lower budget, maybe because they don't have a lot of people in their team. But it wouldn't be noticeable on any other indie game. It's because this game looks like a full price $70 game from a 100-person team with amazing production value. So snappy animations where
Hmm.
like she jumps and grabs a ledge and it doesn't have this smooth motion, matched animation
Interpolation.
to it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more noticeable on a game like this, right? And Rick brings up another good one in the chat. It's so bizarre to me that the game is this silky smooth 60 FPS, and then you go into certain cutscenes, not all cutscenes, but certain cutscenes are 24
Four. Yeah.
FPS.
I've heard about
And
that.
I know there are an animation studio, they work in film, so that's what they're used to, but really bizarre. And I have to wonder if they're going to patch that to incorporate 60 FPS rendered cutscenes, because it is jarring going from 60 FPS to 24 FPS. It's only happened twice in the game so far to me, as far as cutscenes go, but it is, I will admit, pretty jarring when it happens. Moving on to Vince with one of the Game of the Year contenders at this point. Let's talk about Deathloop.
Dude, Deathloop is fantastic. I haven't got to finish it, unfortunately. Just this week, I lost a lot of progress on being able to sit down and stream, to be honest. But I would not be surprised, again, if this game is going to be one of the Game of the Year candidates by the end of the year. Two, it's actually really, really important for some other stuff too as well. But two, the voice cast is actually really great. Colt and Juliana as actors. I can't remember names right now. The chemistry and the amount of kind of bouncing off that they do in this non-linear kind of format way of telling the story has been fantastic. I love Colt and I love Juliana. It is a fun game. It wears its humor on its sleeve. It's fun. I've really enjoyed a lot of the exploration aspect. There is this kind of weird thing that I see a lot of people right now talking about how, oh, it's one of Arcane's weakest games because it's like it's not an immersive sim fully through and through. And
Okay.
it's weird to me because like Dishonored 1 and 2 were great games as well. So was Prey, but like we all know what happened with Prey. Prey didn't sell well. And this game kind of has more hand-holding in the sense of like how it presents to you and stuff like that. So it's an immersive sim light is what I would say what it is. And I think the game works better because of that. It holds your hand pretty easily on. It even makes a reference to where it's like, all right, no more hand-holding, even though it still kind of holds your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I don't know, like there's like some of these complaints I see that are just like, yeah, I did this and I beat the game and that was it. And it was like, but there's all this other stuff that's in the levels. There's all this other
Yeah, to
stuff that you can
interject
do.
for a moment, I am seeing this sort of backlash narrative beginning already in
Yeah.
response to it being a Game of the Year contender, where a lot of people are fighting against it getting a 10 on IGN, a 10 on GameSpot, and saying like, I don't get it. I don't understand how this is, a 7, 8 out of 10 game and is getting these classic masterpiece level scores. I obviously can't comment on that, but it is starting. I'm definitely seeing like a
It's
very strong vocal minority, I would assume, that is, having a backlash to those scores.
it's bizarre because like to kind of go a little bit more of a side tangent here, it's weird because like it's not fitting the immersive sim part that people wanted to do, which the game was never kind of told to be that way in any of the marketing for me. So it's really bizarre to kind of see that whole thing. um and again, like Prey was a great game. Prey didn't sell well. Arcane adjusted their design and everything like that to make it a more approachable game for people, which is what this game is. And I don't know, when I see that type of complaint, I was like, there's plenty of story going on. They make audio logs and journals fun to read because just the personality behind everything. And there's still like environmental storytelling. It's not like overly complex like you can get with Dishonored with some like apartments and whatnot, but there's still like a story within Blackreef that you can kind of piece together and everything like that. So it's bizarre to me. And what really makes it frustrating too for this game is it is led by a primarily black team. I don't know if that's the proper way of saying it or anything like that, and I apologize. But like the director, almost all the senior positions, they're all like, that's the thing. Like it's an important game for that because we don't really see that in the industry. And so to see this type of game do really well with that, and then just see all this kind of bullshit to keep getting flung at it, it's weird, you know. I think the game's level design is one of its strongest things that you could see, and there's plenty to do. And I don't know, it's
The
weird.
one thing I
I,
think everybody will agree with is that it does need a field of view slider on
oh my
PlayStation,
god,
right?
that's the only really big technical downside. I think
Yeah.
90 is the default on PC. It's like around 70 on console, so it can become a blurry mess with the motion blur.
Okay. And we'll talk about that a little later on, actually, for a sort of quirky little story that could have some implications on a future developer's choices. But Denny, Tom was going to talk about XCOM, but he's not here, of course. What have you been playing, if anything, this past month?
I've actually been playing. It's funny you said that. I've actually been playing through Mass Effect with the Legendary Edition.
Oh, nice.
I'm like I think I'm halfway through 3 right now. So and this is my first time ever playing the entire
Yeah,
series.
so this is great. Tell me,
Yeah.
like, am I is my assessments correct? I'm not saying you need to agree with it, but do you think there's a chance I might actually like 3 more than 2?
No, so your assessments are correct. I mean, but like to me, I feel like in the scope of the story of what they were trying to set up at 2, it makes sense. And now going into 3, I think it makes even more sense what they're trying to do. With that whole like pretty much you spending the whole game getting your team together is kind of pushing forward to like what like the story that they do in 3. But I mean, I'm enjoying like 3's aspects a lot more. I think the combat is a lot better in 3. I think they added a lot more versus like ways to get around the battlefields a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a great time with it, honestly. I think there's like a lot of upgrades that they did to it that just I'm like I was a Mass Effect hater for so long.
And why is that?
I just don't like BioWare games.
Okay.
I don't, and that's maybe because like when I was trying to get into them, I didn't want to sit there and listen to like like a 5-minute conversation with all these overbranching like conversations and stuff like that. And maybe because when I first started playing it, I was like 18, 19, so I really didn't care for them that much. But like now that I have played like a lot more games and like at least I guess don't mind it not being so like flashy and like action packed. I'm taking the time to actually go through all that, and I've been like I said, I've been enjoying it a lot.
Is it more of a story, like actually being told, as opposed to 2? Like, does it have this sort of through line that's being told?
I mean, it's still kind of, I don't want to say anything until you play it.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of the same thing of like, there's the one end goal and you have to do,
Okay.
kind of like the fetch stuff. There's a lot in it though, like a lot. Like I'm finding myself like, and because of the fact that it's Legendary Edition, you have all the DLC they did for it. So like everything's just constantly unlocking. And like, I'm just like, I don't know what the hell I have to do next.
Okay.
And like a friend of mine is a big Mass Effect fan, and I was asking her, I'm like, how in the hell do I navigate this so I don't get like a bad ending or anything? Because I want to at least see everything through and see everybody's story through like the correct way. So
My
they've been like,
hatred for Mass Effect was never really like serious. It was obviously kind of jokey. of course. I did not like Mass Effect 1 when I first played it. That is the honest truth. I thought it was a very lackluster game. I didn't think it was a terrible game, but I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Mass Effect 1 has a great story. It's just, especially now trying to play through it, it was just
Yeah.
poo-poo.
The Legendary Edition did help a lot. They've improved a lot. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a much better game than what I played a few years back with the original edition. Mass Effect 2 I thought was more like an 8 out of 10. Considerable leap above Mass Effect 1. I think one of the reasons that I just am not into BioWare games, kind of like you, Denny, and this will be something that's completely different than the people that love it, because I'm just on a completely different spectrum where I actually don't enjoy the branching dialogue and all of that very much. I'm somebody that enjoys Naughty Dog and a very carefully finessed story where they are choosing every line deliberately and guiding you through this storyline. I prefer something more structured like that, where it's like, oh, I don't know if I really want to hear this. What am I missing? Like, I don't. It's not really for me, and that's totally fine. I understand why people are in that. It's just not really my style of story structure. I
think it's because of the fact that for BioWare with Mass Effect and especially with Dragon Age is that they are trying to build this entire world with all these races and species and planets that kind of storytelling, that kind of gameplay makes sense for that. Whereas, if you're saying about Naughty Dog, is literally like they just need the story that with their like few characters that they have. They don't have, 16 different alien races that all need to have their own culture, their own, religion, their own, history between each other and find out all that stuff.
So and as Rick says, I mean, he's right that, some games do better than others, at least in my opinion. Like Witcher 3, I enjoyed many aspects of that. It does have a similar, branching dialogue narrative system as Mass Effect does. But it might also come down to that I'm more into high fantasy than I'm into high sci-fi. So that's just another aspect of it as well. It's not a bad thing. Like, I want to say that very clear. It's not a bad thing. It's just not something that connects with me in the same way as a linear, very carefully directed storyline.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm enjoying it, but I'm still not 100% into the amount of dialogue options every time I talk to somebody.
It's a lot. I respect it. I'm like, holy shit, like there is a lot of world building here. There's a lot that went into this. So just, figuring out all the races and then the history of those and how they all work together, the relationships, the racism, all of that. Morden is a fascinating character in 2, for example.
Morden's great. I love Morden.
I don't really agree with him, honestly. But fascinating character.
Space Joseph Goebbels. Yeah, that's pretty much what he is.
I really respect that. Go into the chat a little bit here to go through what we talked about. Go back to Deathloop. Rick saying that it's disgusting what's going on with the people backlash against the review scores. Kind of reminds him of The Last of Us. You're not wrong. But then Duroc says, not really my kind of game. I can see how others would like it though. And that's the thing, it all comes down to that. It's interesting to see more of a backlash towards these high scores than I've seen in a lot of other games. But that's what it comes down to, is any review score is an opinion in the end. So whatever. Mass Effect 3's big strength is how it wraps up each companion's story, says Rick. It has some major flaws, but the way some of those individual stories end are so memorable. Eskimofo saying Dragon Age is really strong. It's another BioWare franchise that I never got into, something that's more high fantasy, which I connect with. So maybe someday that'll become a thing for me. And Eskimofo excited for Uncharted 5. Let's hope that it's actually a thing. I mean, we still don't know for sure that it's ever going to happen. There's rumors that a team was working on something Uncharted related, but that sort of fell apart with VSG. I can't remember what the exact acronym is, but them and Bend had some connection to the Uncharted sequel. And that fell apart. Maybe somebody picked it up. We'll have to wait and see. I hope so. I will admit I really, really miss Uncharted. I think it's a fantastic franchise that shouldn't go away. I think it's just too much fun, too important to PlayStation, and it does too well, honestly. I mean, Uncharted 4 is what, at like 20 million? Like, you don't give up on that. You don't like, yeah, sure, fine, 20 million, we'll move on. I think they are figuring out what team is going to handle that right now. We'll have to wait to see what that is. A big thank you to Lenny Love coming in with the raid of 9. Welcome, viewers. You're awesome. Pete AM2, and anybody else that is joining us in this raid. You're amazing. I'm Andrew. We got Vince and Denny joining us as well for this episode of Next Level Gamescast, our monthly gaming talk show. We just talked about what we've been playing, but enough of our opinions. Let's actually go and hear some opinions from others, from the official critics of the industry.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of games to get through, so we're gonna kind of go through this really quick here, guys. So, starting up with the first game we have is Psychonauts 2, and as I checked about 35 minutes before the show started, it is sitting at an 89 on OpenCritic right now out of 146 reviews. I actually think
Super
that is the
impressive.
top-rated game of the year so far, in technicality, from OpenCritic standpoint.
Is that when it comes down to like true like new releases? Are there some like remasters or anything like that that are higher?
No, I'm straight
Wow.
up saying there's one that's like a little bit higher than that, but it's like an indie visual novel and it only has like 14, but like it scored really
Gotcha.
high. But I think Psychonauts 2 is the top game of the year from what I can parse here.
Yeah, I
Um,
hear nothing but amazing things about it.
I've never played the first one all the way through, so it does kind of surprise me a little bit, to be honest. But hey, that's fantastic news for Double Fine. It's great that they were able to push this and really come out kind of swinging here with
It's
this.
cool too that Xbox now has technically two games that are their studios. Now, granted, these studios have been working on these games way longer than before Xbox acquired them, but still,
Right.
when it comes to Game of the Year time, if either Psychonauts 2 or Deathloop wins, it is finally an Xbox first-party studio getting
Right.
a Game of the Year win. So that's kind of
Yeah.
cool for them that they have two opportunities for that right now at this
Yeah,
point.
no, it's really cool. But then moving on, we have Life is Strange True Colors, sitting on an 81 on OpenCritic with 121 reviews. That to me feels a little low for that franchise, but I really didn't compare where the other seasons
Let's
came
do it.
into
Let's
play.
let's take a look at Open Critic. Let's look at Life is Strange 1 and 2. What
Yeah.
did you expect it to get?
I was thinking, considering how many people are so really onto the franchise, I was thinking more like the 84, 86 range is
Season
where
1
I was
has an
thinking.
81, same exact score.
Oh, really? Okay.
And
Then
season 2 has
should be lower, right?
a
'Cause
77.
yeah, I was gonna say
So
'cause
it is
season 2
tied
is
with
not.
season 1.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's good then. If it's tying
Yeah.
with season 1, which is apparently a really great season, then okay, never mind. My
100%
assumption
agree
was
with that. I
correct there.
love season 1 of Life is Strange. So
So
I'll be looking
that's
forward to
awesome.
this one. I've heard really great things. I think specifically Evil Resonance, I want to say, played it and really, really liked it. So it's on my list for sure. I'll keep an eye
Very
on this
nice. Yeah, then moving on, we have our next game, which again, this was a surprise for me. I was really surprised just because I really don't know much about the franchise. I guess is Tales of Arise, and that's sitting at an 88 on OpenCritic with 111 reviews.
I want to say it's the best the franchise has ever done when you take into account how many reviews it has in today's landscape, right, of
Right.
strictness and harshness on reviews. Going, for instance, to Tales of Berseria, that got an 80. Tales of, let's see here, Tales of Zestiria, I'm assuming that's another one, that got a 71. So yeah, this is a very high score for that franchise.
Very high score. Again, in the 2021 Hall of Fame for OpenCritic, it is number 9, technically, in
Very
that.
cool.
So
It's great to see a resurgence of high scoring Japanese RPGs. Of course, 7 Remake has an 89 on OpenCritic with the new release of the, God, why am I drawing a blank on it? The complete edition that came out this year. I'm drawing a blank on. Oh, Intergrade. That's it. Intergrade has an 89, and now Tales with a very strong score. I feel like there's a comeback in a way.
there's a comeback. Yeah, no. I feel like
The Tales series is great too. So I'm a big fan of the Tales series. So I'm really happy that it's doing really well because they've always been very under Final Fantasies like Shadow. So it's
There's
cool
a few franchises now that are getting up there. Persona's obviously one
Yeah.
of them. Persona's
Yeah.
had a huge increase in its mainstream appeal and its review scores and just the zeitgeist, response to it all. So Persona's up there now. Tales is definitely coming up there. Dragon Quest is doing really well, even more so now in America than it used to. That was always a really strong Japanese franchise, but I feel like America is starting to pick it up a little bit more now. It's great to see.
Yeah.
Japanese RPGs were the bread and butter of PlayStation back in the PS1 generation, but it's been a long time since it's felt like that. So it's cool to see this resurgence happening.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's awesome. And then moving on to the last one that's on here for the lineup. I have like two more I want to actually throw in there real quick. But the last one we have here in the lineup is Lost Judgment. And that is sitting at an 84 with 74 reviews. I think it's good. I heard that there was some sort of cultural issues that were going on with some people nitpicking on like this bullying aspect in the game. But to me, it seems like it's going to be a good action game to play. But I'm curious to see uh, when I'll actually get to play it.
Yeah.
I haven't played Judgment 1
Same
yet
here.
either.
I haven't either. Yeah.
And then just to kind of quickly wrap things up, I wanted to add two more games here because I had to say this. Death Stranding Director's Cut is sitting at 88 with.
Damn it! I didn't include it on purpose, Vince.
It's sitting at an 88 there with shit. Let me
So
give you
interesting, right? The original has an 81.
Right.
This is, not a very different game overall. It's added some mechanics, but honestly, I've seen a lot of people say that it's for the worse in a lot of ways, where it kind of ruins what the original game was going for. So it's interesting to see that it has a much higher score. I wonder how many reviews the original had versus the director's cut.
Right now, the director's cut has 56, and if I would look real quick, really in depth,
I bet the original has over 100 easily,
probably.
maybe even 150.
There we go. Give me 1 second here. 194 at 83, actually.
Wow. Yeah, so that's the question, right? Is if you were to have all of those 190 people review it, would it still hold so high, or are we getting Death Stranding fans coming back to review the director's cut, and as a result, you're getting a higher score?
I don't know.
You would say that.
I don't know, actually, to be honest, because there's actually some really cool stuff they did with it. I can see some of the other stuff being where like there's the flow and the vision has been destroyed, but at the same time, he still put his stamp on it in a way, so it's one of those things. But the other thing I wanted to say was Diablo 2 Resurrected. This is weird. It's saying it actually opened up at an 84.
Sorry, what game was that?
Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it came out on the 23rd. Really weird though, for such a big game, right? Only 9 reviews so far.
Huh.
I think a lot of people are staying.
Support Blizzard. Yeah,
staying away.
That's what I was
from
wondering.
Blizzard. Yeah,
I was wondering.
They absolutely are, because like half these same websites that are putting out video game reviews are the same ones that were eating up all the scandals and putting out articles. So
yeah, I was more what I wanted to ask you guys, because like that was bizarre to me to see again a huge IP release, even if it's a remaster. Only they debuted at an 84. This is the classic Diablo, essentially the one that everyone talks about, and yeah, only 9 reviews so far. Just bizarre.
To clear things up in the chat about Death Stranding, I would probably like the director's cut more. I'm dead serious. I probably would like it more. I just think it is interesting because it's called the director's cut, but it kind of opposes the director's original vision. So it is kind of interesting to see that happen, and it makes me wonder if that's why he didn't want to call it director's cut.
I still think that makes sense, and to be honest, I'm not really a huge fan of the director's cut moniker Sony's going for. I rather would do expanded edition is what I would prefer, to be honest. And all of it, Ghost, if we get Last of Us Part 2, I don't want a director's cut. I want expanded or something like that. I want some different moniker. Director's cut just always feels weird.
Yeah, it doesn't always apply. I like it sometimes. I don't like it other times. But it seems like they want to be consistent, is what it is, right? So that's why you're going to continue to see that suffix, if you want to call it, applied to these games. But let's take a break here. Great start to the show. Thank you so much again to the raid that came in. That was from Lenny Love. Everybody give Lenny Love, who just followed, some love, some level up love. Check out his channel, see what he's all about. I will do the same, Lenny, after the show tonight. But thank you so much for stopping in here. And everybody else that came with the raid, thank you so much for being here. Hit that follow button if you're enjoying the stream. And come back. We do the show monthly. I also do a monthly movies and television talk show. We do lots of variety gaming. And give Vince and Tom, I should say, a follow. Tom's not here tonight, but you should definitely give him a follow as well. We will be right back. We're going to get into our discussion of the big gaming industry news, the level update, when we get back. But right now, 3-minute commercial break. Hold on tight, Lenny Love. We will be right back. Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamescast, the Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show, live on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show on the fourth Sunday of every month. Make sure you never miss an episode. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn on notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever we go live with either variety gaming or talk shows. If you're watching the episode as an archive, hit the subscribe button on YouTube at youtube.com/Level Up Network. Turn on the bell. Get alerts when we upload new videos. And of course, become a part of the community even when we're not live on Discord at discord.gg/levelupnetwork. Lastly, Vince as well, of course, Agent Vincent 4756 on Twitch. Give him that follow. He'll put his command in the chat for you guys so you can easily click on that. And right now, we are going to move on to our discussion of the month's biggest gaming industry news. Of course, it is called the Level Update. Thank you, Vince, as well, for posting that command in chat. We do have after show, as always. $30 in tips tonight means a 30-minute after show where we just talk with you guys, conversational, chill music in the background, anything and everything gaming-related, movies and television-related. It's really just kind of a chill post show, and that can become an hour of after show if we get $60 in tips tonight. But right now, let's get into the first topic of the Level Update. My topic, I want to talk again about PlayStation Showcase. Of course, if you missed it, our Level Up Direct from this month, which also had Denny, we had a great discussion on the PlayStation Showcase and what was there. Now let's talk about what wasn't there at the PlayStation Showcase. All right, so there was a lot that wasn't there, actually. When you really think about it, it's kind of crazy how much we don't know about what PlayStation is doing. Still, at this point, there's so much we don't know. And it's exciting in a lot of ways, but it also is a little bit confusing, a little bit disappointing, because some of those things I would have liked to be there. Today is The Last of Us Day. We'll talk about what was announced today, but I can tell you right now, we didn't get The Last of Us Part 1 remake. We didn't get The Last of Us Part 2 Director's Cut. We didn't get Last of Us Factions today. And of course, it wasn't at PlayStation Showcase either. What is going on with Naughty Dog? Do you guys think? Are you worried at all? It's been a while. And I did not expect Factions to take as long as it is taking. Let's go to Denny first, actually, on this one. Denny, are you concerned at all about Naughty Dog and what's going on internally?
No, honestly, I think that possibly they probably have something to show, but I think that with PlayStation, they're putting their they're putting like God of War and Horizon forward first, and I think that once either it gets to like close to like Horizon's launch date, and if they go into doing another like showcase, I think then they'll like let Naughty Dog show something off, because I feel like it's for them, like that's Naughty Dog's such a big studio for them that they want to hold off that stuff and let the other large studios as well have their time to shine. Like, again, like Horizon Zero Dawn sequel and the God of War sequel. I don't think they want to, for lack of a better word, blow their load really quick on that. I think that for them, it's all about like the slow burn of showing off these things and then letting that like sit with everyone.
Before we jump over to Vince, Rick makes a great point in chat, one that I was going to bring up myself as well. First off, the 8 p.m. note, I am assuming was what that was. There was supposed to be an 8 p.m. note. Sounds like it was about Factions. They're still working on it, they confirmed. And, of course, Naughty Dog under a lot of fire in recent months over their crunch culture. Do you agree with Rick, Vince, that maybe they're just trying to not fall into that trap again? Maybe they're trying to do right internally and avoid crunch?
I think so. I think it's like a half that story. I also think I kind of said this on the Discord as well. Everything that I have heard in any of the rumors, any of the leaked quote unquote stuff that happened there, this idea has pretty much just expanded out. Feature creep has been a thing, and its almost scope has been pretty much just tripled. And with seeing some of the hirings now, like economic hires. You're looking at level designers, you're looking at network designers. We had some NVIDIA, hires as well coming into there with into kind of context there. They want people with experience on NVIDIA hardware and everything like that, which points to a PC release as well, and not a port release. Like straight up, they're doing this on PC as well. I just think this is going to be like, I don't want to say like an answer to Halo Infinite's free to play multiplayer. I don't want to make that like kind of comparison, but I kind of want to say it's going to be like Sony's similar thing, if that makes sense.
I mean,
You
I
know,
think
like
I do agree that PlayStation probably is looking at this as very important to their
mhm.
multiplayer space. They're making a push towards multiplayer. We know that, right? You got Deviation, you've got Firewalk, I want to say, and one other one as well that Haven, sorry, Haven, all seemingly working on a multiplayer titles, and then Last of Us, of course, factions as well. On top of that, I think that this is going to be so much bigger than any of us expected. Production value
Mhm.
through the roof. I think it's going to be a huge deal, standalone release, of course. And I'm actually excited by it. And I'm not a
Yeah.
multiplayer guy, but I'm really excited to see what they're trying to do because Last of Us Part 1 factions was really unique and interesting and had a lot of great ideas and sort of was a half measure towards Battle Royale before Battle Royale was even a thing. So they had those ideas. They had that spark of innovation. Maybe now they're following through with it and doing something that hasn't been done before in the multiplayer space or in the battle royale space. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, in all honesty, what I think we're getting here is I think we're definitely getting one of these insane hybrids. We're getting a battle royale, but with camps, with your whole community type thing. And I think it's just going to be something very, very unique. And I think that's probably the reason why it's taking so long, especially if you're keeping the core gameplay loop of like Last was Part 2. There's a lot of stuff you got to check there, you
Yeah.
know?
Now, one thing I'm a little surprised about, I will admit, factions not making this year. Okay, it's bigger than expected, right?
Right.
But we've got this gap in the holiday season, and are they working on a director's cut for Last of Us Part 2? I have to believe they are. Or they would have done something a little more substantial than just a 60 FPS patch. Like I just feel like it took forever for them to put that out. Like to me it spells yeah, they're working on something more considerable than just a 60 FPS patch. And how long does that take? I mean, it's been a year. By the end of this year, it'll be a year and a half since The Last of Us Part 2 released on PlayStation 4. And it would have been a great thing to fill out the holiday season, you know, just something to be a PS5 boost. So, like, what's going on there, right?
I I think my initial instinct of I don't think we're getting a Last of Us Part 2 standalone director's cut. I don't think we're getting that. I think they're making a Last of Us director's cut where it's 1 and 2 together in the same thing. That's what I think is going to happen next.
Do you think the
Uh,
remake that it's
the
rumored will
re
be a part of it?
Yeah, I think, and that's where it's going to be. It's going to be the entire PS5 enhancement, but it's going to be the entire full out experience.
That seems like a lot of money to throw away from a business perspective to me. Because there's
I
so
don't.
many people that would have no problem at all buying The Last of Us Part 1 remake at $70 if it looks freaking awesome, which it probably is going to look freaking awesome. So to just bundle that in with a director's cut, if you want to call it that, seems like throwing away money, honestly. And I mean, I'll be very happy about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm from a consumer perspective, but if I'm trying to think of this from a business perspective, Denny, wouldn't you say that seems like money thrown away?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that would buy that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't really get to. I never really played too much of The Last of Us multiplayer, so I don't really have like much of a horse in this race to be, excited for factions or anything like that. And I just played through two, so I don't know like if like I don't know what they could add into a director's cut to really get me really to get it.
Unless it's Last
Like,
of Us Part 1, though. That'll get you if it was a remake of Part 1 included with Part 2 director's cut.
it's got to look really freaking good for me to want to like pick it up and play it again, play
If the
through it.
rumors are
Honestly,
true, originally it was VASG that was working on it, and it was we need a game that is going to show off PS5,
Hmm.
not cross gen. This needs to be a looker on PS5. So this is The Last of Us Part 1, but made truly next gen with PS5 graphics. So I'm betting it's going to look stunning if that is still the case.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like I said, if they show it off and it does, I'll
and
probably
it
get
adds
it.
in those great gameplay mechanics from Part 2, right? The stealth,
Yeah,
the
if
prone,
they
all
yeah,
that.
if they add in, all the quality of life like control stuff that they did for two. Yeah.
It could be huge. But looks like we're going to have to continue to wait. Maybe the Game Awards? Do you think it could be this year? Do we think we get something from The Last of Us factions or Director's Cut or anything this year with what's left?
I don't
I
think
think the
it's
Game
spring.
Awards. I think the Game Awards is really kind of the only shot for that, and I think after that, it's further off than what everyone thinks it's going to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, Denny said spring. Okay. Let's talk about that diamond motif that PlayStation Showcase had. A lot of speculation before the show began that there's got to be a reason for this. There's got to be a reason for them doing all this diamond iconography and all that. And one of those theories was, ooh, what about PlayStation Plus Diamond Edition, which is their answer to Game Pass. It is incorporating PS Now into PS Plus, maybe even adds in Crunchyroll, things like that. Of course, we know now that there was no discussion whatsoever of services at PlayStation Showcase. I know maybe that's not the place for it, but I did get a little bit hyped up about the possibility of the diamond meaning that. And does PlayStation need to have a response to Game Pass right this moment? No, I don't think that they do. I think that they are keeping an eye on Game Pass. I think they should be keeping an eye on Game Pass. It's very important. They are in a dangerous position if they are being foolhardy to that potential to take over the industry and change the way everything works. Um, were you guys expecting it to be there? Are you disappointed by the lack of it? And do you think that PlayStation needs to bring an answer anytime soon? Go with you, Denny, first.
I don't think so. I think that they kind of have a headway over Xbox right now that I don't think they need to jump into doing some kind of Game Pass equivalent. I think that their titles now are selling and their titles are strong enough that they don't need to go into something like that.
What if they were to do a half measure? What if it was, hey, we're putting every first party PlayStation title on PS now in PS Diamond Edition, but it comes out exactly 18 months after its original release, and we will stick to that. It's always going to be 18 months after it comes to the original, and it'll come to PC and PS Now 18 months after. And everybody knows, okay, that's where it'll be on PS Now at that point. Do you think like that would be a half measure maybe that allows them to retain the prestige of PlayStation first party studios and what it means to console while also taking a step towards combating Game Pass, Vince?
I don't know, man. Like, the more and more I've thought about it, the more and more an equivalent measure or even a half measure just doesn't kind of make sense to them. It's weird. Because everyone obviously wants that answer. They want that instant gratification of like they just put a sub on, they'll buy a game, it's just whatever. I just don't see the half measure even being received well, if that makes sense. If you have a half measure that you're describing, I don't see that being received very, very well. I feel like that'll just be another like a marketing, flop from them that they would, Xbox would clearly like, take opportunity on, everything like that.
I don't disagree with that. I think it is an opportunity for Xbox to be like, hey, we are day one. But in the
Right.
end, like that's just stupid console war garbage
No,
going back
I
and forth
get that.
on Twitter. And I mean, there's a lot of excitement going around right now about the recent interview and the kind of implication from Herman Holst that PC is going to be getting PlayStation first party titles about 2 years after console. It wasn't, oh shit, 2 years really going to make us wait that long. It was, oh, nice. We can get these games 2 years after. Like they're kind of confirming it. So I think people looked at that in a positive light, even though it's, it could be better. It could be Xbox where it's day one on console and PC. But, it was still, hey, half glass full, we're getting these games 2 years later on PC. Maybe it would be the same response on PS Now if that were to happen.
Maybe. I think I'm just more annoyed that there isn't a combo service yet with Now. I think it's kind of more like the more pressing thing for me is that like Now is still kind of left to the side here, and Now is good. Now has some issues it needs to work out through, but Now is still relatively good, especially if they would actually, develop a PC client for it and a mobile client for it as well. I mean, you have an answer to xCloud at the exact same time, and it's just, I think that's the more pressing thing to me at this point.
Okay. One of the most egregious absences from the showcase for a lot of people was Blue Point. Specifically, that we still do not know what the heck is going on with a potential acquisition.
I am. Just
Yeah,
do it.
I
Do
just
you,
don't get
well,
it.
that's the thing. At this
Just
point,
do it. Why? It's been so long.
is it possible that it actually was a mistake from
I
PlayStation
don't.
Japan, that they somehow effed this up, made this, somebody made this image even though there was no reason to. Maybe it was in negotiations, maybe those negotiations fell apart, and they just grabbed the wrong image. Is it possible that this is not happening at this point?
I don't know, man. I just I don't see that.
I agree. I think
It's
it's just still
weird.
negotiations, and these things take a while.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very deserving studio. So
I think there's just so much smoke there, right? About Metal Gear being the thing they're working on. And if they're working on Metal Gear and it is a saga, which is the rumor where they're working on like 4 Metal Gear Solid games, like that's going to be their trajectory for years to come. Working on a PlayStation exclusive remake of this beloved franchise. And like, why wouldn't they be first party at that point? Like
yeah,
they're all in all essence already first party. And I think as a feather in Sony's cap in this sort of landscape of acquisition war right now. I know Herman Hulst and Phil Spencer can say all they want that there's no acquisition war going on. There's no arms race going on. They can say that all they want, but it's happening. It's
Yeah.
clearly happening. Consolidation is happening left and right. They can say all they want that it's not. So it is a feather in Sony's cap if they can say, yes, we have Blue Point. Yes, we have Ember Lab. And I think they would take that opportunity. I agree with you guys. I think it's just, we got to be patient. I think it's in the works. There's a lot that goes into something like this. Blue Point is not Ember Lab, for example. It's going to take a lot more to get Blue Point than it would take to get Ember Lab. So we will have to wait and see. But I was a little disappointed not to get some good Metal Gear, baby. At,
maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting for
maybe.
Blue Point to have something to show off, just even if it's just like an announcement for it, and then they'll do the announce that, hey, we're proud to announce our acquisition of Blue Point Studios, and here's their next big project for PlayStation exclusive.
That actually brings up a question I have. PlayStation Experience hasn't been around for years now, right? But we still have 3 months left in this year. And there's still a lot we don't know about PlayStation and what they're working on. Could it happen? Could we get the return of a PlayStation Experience this year?
Wasn't there a leak about that happening this year?
There's a little bit of smoke. A little bit of smoke,
Was it,
yep.
well, wasn't it from the same exact person who did the September event?
I can't say on that. I don't
Ooh,
want
I
to fake fan
can't.
myself.
I want to say it was. It was almost the same person. So yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna come back. Maybe it'll come back as a digital event again, and then maybe hopefully next year when the world has finally settled down, they'll try to bring it back up, to being an actual location thing again.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I loved PlayStation Experience, even in the more low key years.
yeah.
I thought it was just a cool fan driven event, and I would really love to see it come back. But let's go on to some smaller things. I didn't expect this to be there, but Final Fantasy 16 was not there. We got Forspoken, but we didn't get Final Fantasy 16. Do you think we get anything from 16 this year at this point, or do you think we're probably waiting until next year?
I don't think we're gonna get anything at TGS. If
Yeah, I don't
anything,
think so either.
we'll definitely get like a random just drop from them. It'll be from that team. It'll be some like almost like a state of play type
Yeah.
deal. It'll be somewhere like in that type of scenario.
One thing I will
Uh,
say, the Game Awards has had Final Fantasy twice now. They had it with 15 with the Titan boss battle, which by the way was awful, awful demonstration. And then they also had a 7 remake new trailer at
yeah,
one of the Game Awards. So twice now Final Fantasy has been at the Game Awards. Maybe
could be a thing.
December is
Yeah,
still a few months away. I think that 16 is probably a quarter 2, quarter 3, maybe even quarter 4, 2022 title. And I know that Yoshi P wants to have a short window between the big blowout and the release. So I'm not sure if that's tight enough for what they want. But December, I think, is a possibility. I think there's a chance we could see it there. One I want to talk about, we're getting into some extras here while we kind of fill out the last couple minutes here of this segment. I really, really hope that Media Molecule is done working on Dreams. I love Dreams. Dreams is really cool, but it's sort of self-sustaining now, right? That's kind of the point of it. It should be self-sustaining. Let the community thrive. Eventually put it on PS Now, eventually put it on PS Plus, eventually put it on the PlayStation Plus Instant Collection to allow it to grow further. But there's no reason for Media Molecule to be tied up with something like Dreams at this point, and I'm worried about them. I do think that there is a chance that they get shut down. LBP was so successful to them that they've kind of been riding on that for like 5 years now, if not more. Tearaway was not a success. Dreams was 5 years in production, not a success as of right now, as far as its player base and all that goes. I don't want to see them go away. They're one of the most creative studios in the entire industry. Their talent is amazing. As Evil Resonance says, their talents are going to waste a bit. What do you want to see from them, from Media Molecule? What would be a good use of their talent at this point?
I don't know, dude. I really don't know because I just don't. It's weird now with Sumo being gone. Like they could go back to Little Big Planet as a franchise. They could go back and they could redo and recreate and do a lot of things there. Uh, what's weird too is they've also had a lot of high level leaves as well that happened with that studio. I can't remember names, but I even know like the actual person who pioneered and pitched Dreams is no longer, I think, part of that company anymore now. I think they moved over to NVIDIA at this point. I'm not sure if I'm absolutely correct on that, so it's not a fake fan moment. Don't call me out on it. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's been that type of movement gone in a way. And I just don't know what you could do where they would fit, if that makes sense.
Rick wants Little Big Planet 4. Denny, you think that's the right way to go, or do you think they need to sort of reinvent themselves?
They need something. They need something new.
Yeah.
They need something, especially after, because like I'm guessing because I'm not a big on like following the studios. They didn't do Sackboy.
They did not. That is Sumo Digital.
Yeah, that was Sumo Digital.
And honestly, Sackboy I think was a great way to move Little Big Planet into something new, moving into like the platformer genre that I think it transitioned well. That I think going back to 4. And that community driven, like building all those like maps and all that stuff. Like, I don't know if a lot of people are gonna be doing that like they used to be too much.
Yeah. I do think that there's Dreams should be that platform and they should just work on growing that. I don't think Little Big Planet needs to exist anymore. Dreams is Little Big Planet. It can do everything Little Big Planet did and a million times more.
Yeah.
They just need to get it into people's hands. That's what they need to do. And I think that if it comes out on PC, and if it comes out on PS Plus Instant Collection, that community could really thrive.
Dreams would be the perfect game for PC.
I look at Dreams stuff on Twitter at least every single day. What people are doing within that is crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. It's so cool what people are making. There's a literal animated series being created right now within Little Big Planet, and it's cool. It's a really cool animated series that's being done. It's on Patreon. It's had $25,000 raised towards it for these people to keep making it. Lots of really cool stuff happening in Dreams. Keep that alive. Have that be your play, create, share platform. I would love to see them stay within something a little bit more lighthearted and family friendly, but maybe a little more like action adventure.
Yeah.
Little like we're seeing a renaissance of that. We're seeing Kana. We're seeing Ratchet. I think I could see Sly Cooper coming back. Could Media Molecule reboot Sly Cooper? Or create an IP like that? Something that's like a great action adventure IP for PlayStation. I think people are craving that again for the first time in a long time. I think it's why Kana is doing so well. Everybody recognizes what Kana is. It is a PS2 game made in a PS5 generation. And people are looking at that as a positive thing. It's a style of game we haven't seen in a really long time. And I think maybe they should capitalize on that in some ways.
I wonder, just a small little aside here. I wonder if they could almost use Dreams as a vehicle of release in a way. If they're able to transition the monetization model into paid content in a way, somewhat. You still have all the free stuff that would be there, but like what if Media Molecule like releases like their Dream single player part 2 inside of that game? What if they would release, Little Big Planet Remastered, something like that inside Dreams? I wonder if that would be an approachable model somewhat in that way.
I think I'll be okay with seeing one more thing from them. Artstream was really cool. If they're working on something right now as like their final story expansion within Dreams, I'd be cool with that. But I really think what they did recently with that penguin thing, that was all community driven. That was a community made game within Dreams. That's what they should do. They should allow the community to make these huge releases, and they should promote them within Dreams. They don't need to be wasting their time and talent within Dreams at this point, in my opinion. I really don't think that they should. But let us know in the chat, guys, what was your most disappointing absence of PlayStation Showcase? If it is other, let us know in the chat what you think you would have liked to have seen there. What's up?
What Rick said in the Discord, they just posted the first still from Last of Us HBO.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Oh, wow. Wow. Can I pull this up? Hold on a sec. Hold up. Let's see if I can pull this up. Let me see if my browser is captured here. It is. Let me turn off the... Well, that'll stay up for a second here, but you guys can see it for the most part. That is really nice. That is really nice.
Good.
I'm vibing with that.
It's a perfect shot.
Yeah, like that is The Last of Us right there, right? You can really feel it, the essence of The Last of Us in that shot.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's a great way to show off how what they're doing with it. I think that's really cool.
Happy The Last of Us Day. That's what we needed right there. Damn, very nice. Exciting. All right. With that, you guys know what that sound means. It is time for the halftime hedge, ladies and gentlemen. Usually Tom's segment. I'm going to take it over.
Ooh.
I'm going to put this on Danny this time. But of course, halftime hedge, another
I can't
Discord.
do it like Tom. I don't have the voice to do it.
I don't have it either. I should get like a voice modulation.
Yeah, I don't have that booming radio voice to be able to do this right.
Yeah, I should do voice modulation for when Tom's not here. But use our Discord, guys, discord.gg/levelupnetwork. Go to the hashtag halftime hedge channel. The point is that you can make a wager towards us for a certain number of seasonal points, a bet. And it could be months, long. It could be 1 month long. It could be, hey, I think this will get a Metacritic score of this. I think this will get delayed out of this year. I think that this will be turned into a movie or television show, or be announced to be so in the next year. Really anything you want, and we'll either accept it or decline it live on the show and negotiate with you on the seasonal points wager. We actually do have a couple of resolved wagers long in the making. First one, Maddie G, way back, I think it was back in May, wagered 5,000 seasonal points saying Horizon Forbidden West will not release in 2021. And guess what, you guys? He was right. He was right. Way to go, Matty G. Very impressive.
Way to go.
Although kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I think it's Matty G, I want to say.
He won, but at what cost?
At what cost? I hope that's right. I think it's Matty G getting 5,000 seasonal points. And another bummer is that I wagered 2,500 seasonal points last month, and I said Abandoned would be revealed to be something more than just a new IP indie project before this episode. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen, but on Twitter, it was the exact opposite of that. It was just more, okay, guys, our app is going to be updated now to include this trailer, like in nothing. It's just garbage, just more garbage. Yeah, nothing's happening.
So stupid.
It's
so
nothing.
Stupid.
It is just a total waste of everybody's time at this point. And with that, that means I have to give everybody in the room, every single person, I have to give 2,500 seasonal points. Way to go, room.
Yeah, way to go.
We did it. We did it.
But Denny, I think you said before the show that you had a wager that you would like to make, and now this is a wager towards you. I'm not considering you a part of the show, Denny.
Damn. Okay.
Wow.
Holy shit! All right. Yeah. So I want to wager because it's coming out soon, and I think there's a lot of good hype behind it. I think it's going to get a really good big praise. But I'm saying Metroid Dread get either a 90, 91 on OpenCritic.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's actually pretty reasonable. I think that's within the realm of possibility for sure.
Yeah, I think the game. I think it's gonna do great because it's a huge return to form for the series. It looks great. Looks like the story looks like it's gonna be great, and I think that a lot of people who want anything that's not Prime, like a new Prime or a remake of Prime or something, are gonna gravitate towards it, and I think it's gonna do good.
Here's the thing, though. That's a tight window. 90 to 91 is a tight window, no matter how you cut it.
I like it tight.
So you're putting you're putting yourself on the line here. There's a big risk involved. I do think it shouldn't be taken lightly. You know, even though the game could certainly get into the 90s, 90 to 91 is tough to get, and it's a tight window. So with that, do you have a wager in mind? Do you have a number you want to put on this?
How do I check my SP? Is it just
type in exclamation point SP?
Okay, I always forget.
You got plenty. You can wager a lot if you want to.
Yeah. Let's do 10,000.
Ooh, not sure if I'm willing to go that high. What do you think, Vince? That seems a little high to me.
That does seem high.
I think if this was a game that didn't look great, then I would say maybe, but it does. It looks great.
5,000 then.
5,000 is more realistic.
I like it. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was trying to look to see if there's any other like scores on Open Credit for Metroid, and there really isn't. I
mean, the Prime games did an unbelievable.
That's yeah.
But this is the first 2D side scroller in a long time
since Fusion.
And maybe that is why it'll do so well, though, is because people have been craving a return to side scroller.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see it.
It's finally continuing the story and hopefully having us all forget about Other M, and I'll take it.
I think I'm okay with 5,000. I think that's okay.
I'm fine with that. We gave that for Maddie with the release of Horizon.
Lock it in.
So.
Lock it in. Vince, could you type that into the outline for me?
Lock it in.
Yeah, I could do that.
And the
right
reason
now.
I kind of busted Denny's balls for a moment there is because we actually have something to say right now. With 35 people in the room, we got more people now than ever. Let's make this official. Guys, we have very exciting news. Season 4 of Next Level Gamescast will have very special Jersey representative guest host Denny. All 3 episodes of Season 4. Denny will be joining myself, Vince, and Tom. 4 people. Back to the quadruple. What do you call that? Quad.
It's a foursome.
To the foursome. Let's just call it a foursome. Yeah.
Let's just call it a foursome.
Back to the foursome.
Also, if Tom has Jersey native, I want to be everyone's favorite local curmudgeon. I want to be that.
There you go. Okay, I'm okay with this. We'll make it official. Put it in the
we
books.
go.
Everybody's favorite local curmudgeon. Was that what it was?
Well, favorite curmudgeon. Yep. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, local favorite curmudgeon. Okay. All right.
Don't put
I'm gonna have to remember that. I need to get that on the script.
The tongue twister.
The behind the scenes script that we have. None of this is real, guys. This is all scripted.
Rick.
It's all scripted.
Window liquor hype. What?
I can't say that again. I did it.
Oh, I know. We've talked with Denny extensively about this. He knows what's at stake now.
Yeah.
He knows what's at stake. But there you go. It's in the books. And everybody should get on our Discord as well. Discord.gg/The Level Up Network. Go to the hashtag Halftime Hedge channel. Start getting your wagers in. And on top of that, it doesn't have to be just for Next Level Gamescast. We also accept wagers for the Lights Up show, my movies and television talk show. You can also make movies and television wagers as well if you would like within our Discord. So please do that. And thank you again for posting after show.
I think I'm going to wager another 5,000 that you're going to enjoy all 9 Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, Jesus.
When's that going to happen? I don't know if that's
a stretch goal right there.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would be really upset if I spent the next 9 months of watch along doing Fast and Furious. By the time I finished, the 10th movie would come out.
I think you just need to work. Just do the first one.
Just the first movie, huh?
Just do the first one. And that's it. You don't really need to watch the rest of them.
Really? This is going into like a real aside here, but that is not what I've heard. I've heard like the first one is nowhere near as good as what has come.
Well,
since.
What do you want? Do you want like really dumb, campy?
I want as dumb as it gets. Give me the dumbest shit you can.
Then you got to watch 9.
9 is the dumbest shit. Yeah, I want the dumb shit.
If you want the dumb shit, go to the end.
Yeah, I want all the thing.
Yeah,
all the dumb shit.
All the
thing. My God.
Please, I do need to see upgrade as well. Thunder Square. That is right. All right. Anyway, let's continue on with the level update. We're going to move over to Vince with what I think is going to be a pretty interesting topic here.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a discussional piece. Because we kind of had like this little talk that happened on Discord, and it's interesting with COVID and how everything is nowadays. But our games announced too early. So the thing I wanted to ask, I kind of wanted to ask each of you individually here. So like, Denny, do you think games are announced too early? And if you were in charge of all games announcements, how would you approach it?
Don't announce them until 6 months before they're actually fully ready to be played, and then
Okay.
just build 6 months of hype. Don't announce a game 3 years, 4 years beforehand, and then have it just come out like an absolute complete mess. Cyberpunk, and
That's interesting.
All right.
I'm trying to put a poll in the chat, but it didn't work for some reason.
But I think after that, I think 6 months is a very good time window to basically hype it up with a few trailers and gameplay and go off that. I think anything past that is way too long, and anything obviously less than that, I don't think gives the developer or the teams any time to put out any kind of like promotional materials.
Right.
Okay.
So that is one of the options in the poll I'm about to put in the chat. Actually, I want to ask people what they think should be the window, if anything. It doesn't.
And you know what, too?
Have
You
to
know what
be.
6 months does, too? 6 months doesn't have people for, again, Cyberpunk, 3 years sitting there, fantasy building what the game's going to have so that they literally set themselves up for the biggest disappointment ever.
Okay. No, it's a very valid perspective there.
What
I
do you
appreciate
think,
it.
Vince? Do you think there is a window that needs to exist?
So the weird thing is, I'm gonna probably be on the complete opposite end of spectrum there of Denny. Is I don't care when games get announced. I really don't. What I don't like is I don't like games being announced and then a hard date being announced with it. I think that's stupid. We've seen that become an issue with a lot of other games. With Uncharted 3, Fallout 4, that those became issues because of just that there was that window that they had to make it into. You know what I'm saying? It's an odd thing. I just think that I feel like people are way too eager and way too impatient and just can't just say like it's an announcement. Like the movie industry, like we know about projects like 5 years in advance.
Yeah, look at Marvel, right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's weird to me that like again with games, it has to be like no, it has to be 6 months or 4 months, and this isn't like criticizing Denny or anything like that. It's weird to me that there is that type of more group think in this type of hobby. I just think it's very bizarre. But that's just me. I don't
It's
think
something that is now sort of just lives on, right, within the gaming
right.
space. Like it's hard to go back from what we've started. People look at the cycle of announcements as hype windows, hype trains coming into the station. And Wolverine is one of the reasons that this topic came up because
Yeah.
that game is probably 2024, if not 2025. And does that matter? In my opinion, no, because they didn't give a date. And we know it's going to be after Spider-Man 2, which is 2023. So we know it exists, and it's a particular case where the excitement exists because of its existence, period. The fact that Insomniac is working on a Wolverine game is all we need to know to generate
Right.
that hype. But if it didn't come this year from PlayStation, it would have come by the end of this year or next year from a leak. And what does it matter at that point? We know it exists, and now we didn't get a proper reveal of it. We didn't get that hype moment. Sony didn't get that hype moment. And I think that we enjoy that now for most games. As long as you said, as long as they don't give a hard date and then miss it over and over and over again, then we enjoy the hype window. It's why we watch these showcases, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge part of that. It's built into the industry at this point, and I don't think there's any going back from that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And here's the other thing on the other flip side here. It kind of this is more to support Denny and like that type of thing. The one thing I don't like is when we just see title cards. Like to me, that's like the weirdest thing. Like when we saw that with Elder Scrolls 6, we saw that with Starfield a few years ago. And like, and this isn't the point an issue here, but like Perfect Dark is another one of those weird ones too, Whereas Wolverine, we kind of got the character. We kind of got what the vibe is in a way, right? Perfect Dark, we kind of got like this really weird, like, this is what we're going to try to go for. It's an overarching thing, but like we didn't get to see really what anything was going on there, you know? And it's weird. If you're going to do a title card, I think you just simply just do game studio, black background, game title coming up, and that's it. That's all you do.
I think it really is like a specific game and studio situation. One on screen right now kind of contradicts what I just said, right? Hellblade 2 was surprising. I wasn't expecting a Hellblade 2, I'll be honest with you. But the problem is, that is what revealed the Xbox Series X. Yep. Literally, that was the reveal of the Xbox Series X, and we haven't seen a damn thing since. They didn't give it a hard date. They didn't even give it a window or a year. But still, you revealed the Series X with this game, and we haven't seen a thing since. That's frustrating. Elder Scrolls 6, frustrating. Because that is not Wolverine. That is not a situation where it's like, holy shit, they're working on another Elder Scrolls. It's like, well, right. No shit, they're working on another Elder Scrolls. Like, what did we gain from that? We didn't get anything. We know now that Elder Scrolls is in production, just like we did years ago. Is it 2026? Is it 2027? Who the fuck knows? But, like, yeah, it's in the works. Like, who cares? Who cares? Fallout. Like that's yeah, of course they're working on another Fallout. Like, whenever it's revealed, like, they should reveal it 3 to 6 months, like they did with Fallout 4. Because that is a franchise where, yeah, obviously they're working on another one. So right. it is a case-by-case situation for sure. But Xbox has definitely been sort of stretching that line for me a lot. I mean, there's just so many at this point. There's Fable, there's Hellblade, there's Perfect Dark, there's Avowed, there's Contraband, there's Hellblade, there's, like, holy shit, guys. Like, and none of these games have a date on them. Like, holy shit. Like, come on. Like, it's a little much with them, I will admit. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm contradicting myself a little bit.
Well, it's what you said. It's a case by case.
I think all of us are just gonna, because even after I said my piece, what Vince said, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then what you said, Drew, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense too. So I think it's just, yeah. And I think Vince is about to say the exact same thing that I'm just gonna prattle off. So Vince say it a lot more eloquently than I could.
No, I was just gonna say it's a very hypocritical stance on everything, right? Because it's just like either this game gets announced too early or this game doesn't get announced too early. It's just like, I don't know, just cool. Game got announced and that's it, you know? And it's weird because, Denny, you bring up a great point because I did that with Cyberpunk. Like, with what they were giving us, I was sitting there going, oh my God, I'm actually going to play this game and have like this very like detective Blade Runner type deal with it, where I can just go into a bar and have all these interactive stories just kind of come to me and I'm gonna be able to craft my own path. Like, nope. That was a legitimate thing for me though, because I was like, well, it's CDPR, I can trust in them on that. Witcher 3 was that well done, and I was like, and they were working on this for a very long time, so I was like, I could see it. But then, you know, the game just came out for what it was, and I know people like it, and I'm not going to, you know, sit there and talk bad about it. It's just, that's the weird thing about it, you know. It's just it's weird. And as he says, Fallout 4 is a great game, but I'm tired of pretending it's not. The thing that I have with Fallout 4 is that everyone forgets how buggy Fallout 4 was right when it launched. It was
yeah, I mean that's classic fashion, right?
But that's Bethesda.
But at the same time, no, that was worse than typical Bethesda. It was rough for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hate not to bust on you, Denny, but it is a little frustrating that at this point it is just like, oh, it's Bethesda.
Hey,
like,
that's
you know,
that's fine. I'm completely okay with it, and
I get it. You love Fallout, so obviously there's like a little bit of a bias there.
I love Bethesda games, but yeah, I'm incredibly biased. I can't even go against that.
And I can do the same thing. I'll contradict myself here again with my bias, because I miss when Final Fantasy 9, 10, and 11 were all announced on the same fucking day.
Yeah.
Literally. All three of those games were announced on the same day. And that was amazing. You know, like I look back at that and I'm like, yeah, announced Final Fantasy 17, 18, and 19 tomorrow. I don't give a crap. Just show me like what like the vibe of Final Fantasy 7, 18, 19 are, and I'll wait 10 years for them if I have to. I just want to know like what the vibe of those games are going to be, because like to me it doesn't matter, because when they release, I will be there day one. I just want to know like what their mindset is. Like, what are they working towards? Like, what's going to be new in each one? So that is, again, like a certain situation where I'm going to contradict myself in my bias here. Where,
Yeah.
I love Final Fantasy so much. Where announce it whenever you want. I will admit, Versus 13 was a torturous situation waiting for that game to come out, becoming 15, waiting years again after that. But 7 Remake, I had no problem with, honestly. Announcing in 2015, coming out in 2019, I had no issues, or 2020, I had no issues with that dev cycle. That was fine with me. Yeah.
That's again very situational too, because
right.
that's a beloved video game that's being remade and being completely revamped from the ground up to look like this. I think everybody would just be like, take your time,
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that what I take away from this too is that the game industry just needs to be, in a word, more just transparent. It is really what
I agree with that.
It. And I think what makes this hard is, like, we hear all these things about crunch. We hear all about these other issues, right? And all these game studios and development companies. And that's like the weird thing too, is that release date and release date windows, put pressure on those teams to launch, and that's like the rough part too, because then if you have that, you have the crunch part. But then if you don't have windows, you have people who are just, you don't know where things are going. There could be, development hell going on, feature creep and everything like that. It's just, I don't know. I think we need to have more transparency. I do think it would be nice to know budgets, because Drew, you can correct me here if I'm wrong, but you can pretty much find out budgets for most Hollywood films, right? Most TV shows.
A lot of those are released. Yeah, a lot of those are known quantities. You can find on Box Office Mojo and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't get those types of numbers with the game industry. We don't get that type of stuff. Like, we get really weird ones. Like, I shouldn't say weird ones. We get the expected, like the bigger ones, like GTA 5. We knew that was a $250 million budget. 125 for development, 125 for marketing is what I remember that being. I could be wrong though. It was still a big number, right? We have the whole rumor of Halo Infinite being 500 whatever. That ridiculous number there.
I still have a hard time believing that could be true. That seems so astronomical. It's like ridiculous.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just I think we just need more transparency. We need to see that type of stuff. Even if it's just numbers. I think that would go a long way with kind of helping with settling down a lot of the what's the word? Just, I don't want to say anger, but you know what I'm saying, that frustration there, and just where a lot of this type of stuff goes at.
Yeah. One thing I want to do real quick, and then I'm going to go to the chat for some of these real quick, but I want to go back to Discord real quick, because I just recognized that we actually don't have a lot of people in on the giveaway. We only have 5 people in on the giveaway. So I'm going to show you guys what we are giving away tonight on our new Season 4 merch. It is this right here, our new Gaming Gauntlet t-shirt. The Infinity Gauntlet, but gaming version with icons like the Sonic Ring, Heart Container from Zelda, Blue Shell, Command Materia. We are giving away 2 of these shirts tonight. All you got to do in the chat is type in !raffle. We still have about 30 minutes left, if not a little more than that, in this giveaway. So everybody in the chat that is interested in a t-shirt, type in !raffle, and you are in the running. We're giving away 2 of those tonight.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. All right. Go into the chat real quick here. Some of these comments on our video games revealed or too early or whatever. Cyberpunk worked perfect for me from day one, says Jameis. Interesting. Some people had that situation. I get it.
It worked fine for me too. It was just a lot of empty promises in it.
Let's see. Going back too far, we're talking about Fast and Furious.
If we do 6-month windows, this is what Rick said. If we do 6-month window, we will lose E3s. We will lose PlayStation Showcase. Like, we lose those types of events.
Yeah, I do think you need transparency, but not at the sacrifice of hype, because we all enjoy the hype. What's your prediction on when Wolverine releases? I stand by what I said. I think it will be 2024 myself. What about you guys?
Yeah, I see that being a quick follow-up after Spider-Man 2.
It's the Miles Morales team, which means they've got like 3 to 4 years, technically, working on this. I think that's plenty of time, because I don't think it's going to be open world or anything like that. I think it's going to be a more contained linear experience, which I think could mean a little bit of a shorter dev cycle, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Depends on how many new assets have to be created, because they're not doing a city again, so that hurts them, obviously, having to create all those assets for new environments. Title cards are too much, agreed. especially for franchises that we know they're going to be working on another one like Elder Scrolls. Ideally, it shouldn't be a very long time between announcement and release, but like Avowed, Microsoft needed to say what they were making, especially after what happened to them last gen. Yeah, we really don't know what Avowed is. I mean, I'm excited to see more of it, but yeah, we kind of just expect it to be Elder Scrolls. I feel like looking at it, it's a first-person, Western RPG.
I'm sorry, it's based in the Pillars of Eternity franchise that Obsidian did. So
Right.
it was their answer to doing a Skyrim before Bethesda got bought. And then it was like, oh, okay. That's like the weird thing about the acquisition there. Because they announced that, and then a few months later, they announced the Bethesda acquisition. So I was like, oh, well, they got their Skyrim then. That was the whole thing that everyone was putting up for Obsidian, was like, they're going to be Microsoft's like first party, like Skyrim answer, everything like that. And then that happened.
Brett says Hellblade 2 will be fire, I think. But also that studio is now working on maybe too much. They are working on a lot of things. I do think Hellblade 2 will be great because Hellblade 1 was great. So I have faith that they're taking their time and that game is going to be special when it ultimately does come out. And let's stop there. Let's move on to our final segment in the level update. Tom would have taken this. I will not put this on you, Denny, because it is kind of a loaded discussion here with a lot to read. Let's talk about Nintendo Direct recap.
Woo.
This was a dense show, actually. Did you guys both watch it, or did you at least like look at what was announced?
I looked at what was announced here on the outline, and then I went and looked up like a few things that I was very interested about.
What about you, Denny?
I just looked at what was announced. I didn't bother watching it. Honestly, going through the list, there's not a lot that I'm really invested in.
Okay.
And there's a lot that the way that they handled, again, going back to like announcing things, I just think was the way they do it is.
Well, let's kind of rapid fire this. We are a little bit behind. First up, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion announced for summer 22. Very cool.
Woo.
Next up, Kirby and the Forgotten Land up on screen right now.
Yes.
A post-apocalyptic action-adventure Kirby game.
You know what's
3D.
funny? When I saw that first, like that, because the day of it, that like the picture of him in front of the broken like buildings leaked,
Yeah.
and I literally saw it, and I was like, "Is this Kirby like in Last of Us 2?" And it's so hilarious that it's Kirby in a post-apocalyptic setting.
I mean, I'm down. I think it's a fun idea. These kind of contrasting atmospheres for what you would expect from these franchises, I think is a really cool idea. So
Yeah, I mean one of my favorite levels in the newest Mario was the new Donk City one where he's running around like I thought that was so cool.
I love Odyssey, so I'm with you there. This is one of the big focuses, and I think this is going to be one of the primary discussions here. Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack has been announced, and it includes N64 and Genesis games. A lot of people very upset that Nintendo would charge at an extra tier for access to these old games. Personally, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
It just, first off, it's Nintendo, but on top of that, like they are offering more than they were before. Like I guess people were expecting sort of fan service in this case and just sort of them to eat it.
It's a large lineup compared to, and it's a stacked lineup compared to how they released, the SNES and the NES online, because it was like had like a few mainstays and then like some random games just thrown in there. Like this is like, especially the Nintendo 64 one, besides Winback, which is such a weird game to throw in there. It's a lot of heavy hitters from that console.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what bothers some people is that the online Nintendo experience, as we all know, is absolutely terrible. It's so terrible, in fact, that even $20 that they're charging is egregious. So for them to charge more now, I think is part of what might be bothering people, right?
Yeah. But those same people complaining are just going to get it anyway.
Oh, you're 100% right. 100% right.
All these people are like, I don't want to pay extra for it. And then the first day, they're literally going to be like sitting in their underwear playing Majora's Mask, being like, this is the best game ever. And like,
Yeah.
Not saying it. Not saying it.
Sweaty
not gonna
underwear,
say it.
Cheeto stains all over.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah. The ones that actually have, Bowsette, prints hanging on their walls.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Speaking of greasy controllers, they also announced that they're releasing an N64 and a Genesis controller for the Switch. These are new controllers. These are wireless N64 and Genesis controllers for the Switch. I mean, the N64, okay, that's cool, but wow, like that's so weird that we're getting a Genesis controller released for the Switch, like a Nintendo branded, like holy crap, like
So bizarre.
so bizarre. It's cool.
How
It's
bizarre.
really cool, and each of them are I think $50, and that's kind of where it's weird to me. Nintendo does get this weird pass, in my opinion. Everybody's freaking out, right, over PlayStation games being $70 or $10 upgrade, and then you got an N64 controller and a Genesis controller charging $50 for those, and people are going to eat this shit up. And it's a little bothersome to me, I will admit.
Nostalgia makes money.
Yeah, it's a little
All it
bothersome.
is. Nostalgia makes money. And the worst part is, like, those controllers, you're going to play, people are going to get them, and then you're going to remember how much it sucked to use a Nintendo 64 controller.
It's awful.
And go back and forth between the stick and the D-pad when you have to do that, and then you're just going to wind up using your Pro controller anyway.
You know, can I
which
say
is the
something?
same price.
Go for
I am
it.
still, to this day, extremely butthurt. Wrong word to use, but like it really hurt me. Like that on our competition of greatest console of all time, N64 beat PS1. And I don't get it to this day. That is the worst aged console in console history, in my opinion.
Listen, you got Edith Finch beating Skyrim. I don't want to hear you complain about something being like
Dude,
robbed, okay?
Can I
No,
get a
I
little
don't wanna
bit of
hear it.
understanding here? Like
No,
that is
no, you cannot get any understanding because that's
Denny!
the wrong win.
Denny, tell me like
No,
10
you can't
games
paint,
on
you
N64.
can't
Tell
You
me
can't
10
paint.
games on N64 that have not aged terribly.
What?
Tell me 10 games on N64 that have not aged terribly.
They're literally all about to be released in this online pack that you can get for $20
Dude, I'm
extra
sorry.
a month.
No. GoldenEye sucks. Banjo-Kazooie even, not good. Mario 64, not great anymore, guys. Sorry, not great
All right,
anymore.
how do I leave this Skype call?
Ocarina of Time kind of gets a pass because the Z focus really helped that game out. Majora's Mask as well. But any game that uses the C pad and the solo joystick and finding a loophole around that, garbage.
Listen,
Garbage, man.
I'm not gonna defend the controller because the controller is hot dookie, but those are great fucking games. So
They're great
wrong.
games at the time they released. It is the worst aged console in history,
Sure.
in my opinion.
you're entitled to your wrong opinion. It's
All right.
fine.
Moving on.
I'm a little shocked now. I don't know how to
Moving
move
on.
on here now.
I'm still
Little
so hurt.
traumatized.
I'm still so hurt from Skyrim losing to Edith Finch. I'm so sorry. Like that still hurts me. That still hurts me because we won it, and then you literally were like, "I'm gonna vote for Edith Finch," and a bunch of randos showed up and voted, and it won by one. I was literally ready to throw my computer like when that happened.
I don't know what to say to that. Edith
So
Finch is
mad
awesome.
at that. So mad at
Bayonetta
that.
3 up on screen right now. Can I hold on? Let me put this up full screen. I don't get this, man. I don't like what is I don't understand this.
You never played Bayonetta.
I've never played Bayonetta, and when I look at this, I'm just like, I don't quite get it.
So this is where Scalebound got repurposed into.
It's such like a weird vibe. I'm sure it plays really well, and I'm sure it's a lot of fun. But when I watch this, I just don't get it.
Don't
That
worry
all being
about.
said,
Don't-
how you guys feel about the gameplay that was revealed here?
I'm not really happy, to be honest. This wasn't what I wanted, if that makes sense. Is it going to be interesting? Sure. I don't like the whole kaiju mechanic that's going on here. I kind of already know what they're going to do with the story with this now. Now that they don't have now they don't have the voice actors coming back and doing this. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of know what they're doing here. It'll probably still be a fun trip, but I just don't think it's going to do well.
Okay. Denny, any comments? I know you're a big Bayonetta fan, right?
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
No
I have
comment.
like negative interest in this game. Like
Negative.
Like I
Yeah.
go out of my way to not even click Bayonetta links. Like I just don't care.
Let's rapid fire a few of these here. We got Splatoon 3 new trailer. I don't vibe with that game at all. That's all I'm going to say. Super
Same.
Smash Bros. Ultimate's final DLC fighter is going to be revealed on October 5th. Exciting. Animal Crossing Dedicated Direct is coming next month as well. Looking forward to that. Mario Party Superstars got a new trailer. That's really cool actually how all of the content they're combining into that. So that's exciting. This is a big one up on screen right now, though. Probably one of the most
Out of nowhere.
focused responses on social media. Miyamoto came up to announce Illumination's Super Mario movie voice cast, headlined by Chris Pratt as Mario.
Boo. Boo this
Yeah.
man.
Here's
Boo.
what I will say.
That's a dumb choice.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second here. All right. Everybody is like posting images of Chris Pratt with mustache and shit like that. Do the people not understand that this is not a live action movie? Chris Pratt is not Mario. Chris Pratt's voice is Mario. And we
even
don't.
Then it doesn't make
wait,
sense.
hold on.
Okay.
We don't know what voice he's going to do.
That makes me even more angry that Chris Pratt is going to do a fake Italian voice.
Well, that's the question. Like, is that what we expect? Is Chris Pratt going to do a fake Italian voice?
I guess so. I mean, the rest of the cast is like, I think Rick said it. It's like half good and half like what fever dream was this like put up with?
Well, I think the weird thing is Pratt to me is the only negative here in this cast. Everyone else I totally vibe with. But
Okay.
I just don't vibe with Pratt being Mario. It's really bizarre. And I think the only reason why he was picked was because of his role in Lego Movie. And even
Maybe.
then, that's just his normal voice, right?
Big star power too.
I
So,
am expecting him to do something a little different with his voice myself. I think there's got to be something he did auditioning for this, something that Miyamoto approved. Let's get something out of the way here.
That is true.
Ever since
That is
Super
true.
Mario 1993 happened, Nintendo has been incredibly careful and possessive of their IPs in not allowing anybody to mess with them in movies and TV. We saw that with Zelda and the leak around Netflix, them being so sensitive that the leak of Zelda being possible for Netflix canceled the project. So they must have seen something in his audition that they were okay with.
Mhm.
Right? So Miyamoto is very involved with this. This is not, hey, Illumination, go ahead, have fun with our most important property of all time. No, they've been very hands-on with this. So let's kind of wait and see what they're doing with Chris Pratt's voice in this case. But beyond that, you got Charlie Day as Luigi. I think that's actually
Love
really
it.
cool.
Love
Anya
it.
Taylor-Joy
Fantastic.
as Princess Peach. Yeah,
Love it.
definitely
Yep.
on that. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Love
Okay, that's
Love
fun.
it.
I get
Very
it. Love it.
tongue-in-cheek, right? They're probably doing something a little satirical with this. Jack Black as Bowser is another example of that.
My God. it's gonna be
Keegan
perfect.
Michael Key as Toad. Cool. Really excited to hear that. Fred
That's
Armisen.
such a out of left field casting, and I love it.
Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, Kevin
Love
Michael Richardson as Kamek, and Sebastian Maniscalco
Okay.
as Spike. So, I think I'm taking a wait and see approach here, or wait and hear approach, actually. I'm not going to write this off as like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, because here's the one thing. I will say Chris Pratt is problematic in some ways. I do get that, especially in the LGBTQIA community. But speaking purely from his talent and what he's going to do with the voice, I will take a wait and hear approach on this.
Okay.
KOTOR is
license-
coming to Switch, guys. What?
I was gonna say, what licensed song did they use for the trailer?
That's a good question. So happy together.
After show.
Maybe they yeah, we'll talk about it after show. Also, Duroc. If you want to put your wager in the chat, I'm totally down to adding another wager into our halftime hedge. KOTOR is coming to Switch. Castlevania Advance released already. ActRaiser Renaissance released already. That came out of nowhere. That's actually really cool that happened. Triangle Strategy, new RPG coming to Switch in March, we now know, and that is from the same team that did Octopath Traveler. So that's really cool. Metroid Dread got a new trailer. We talked about Metroid Dread earlier. It looks really good. Really good. Like 90 to 91 possible on Metacritic good. So let's look forward to that. Yoko Taro is working on a game called Voice of Cards coming to Switch next month.
The
I had
demo
no
was
idea
really
about that.
positive.
Yeah,
The demo
okay.
was really positive for a lot of people. It was on PlayStation as well. It's coming on PlayStation, I think, and everything
Okay,
like that.
gotcha. Same with Castlevania and ActRaiser. Those are on PlayStation,
Yeah.
guys. So you can get those there. Dying Light 2 Cloud version and Dying Light Platinum Edition are coming to Switch. Dying Light 2 is coming February 4th. It was delayed.
Yep.
As I think we talked about, or we will talk about.
We
actually.
did not. We will talk
We'll
about.
talk about it. And Mario Golf gets new characters. Or sorry, Dying Light Platinum Edition comes out October 19th, so that's next month. Mario Golf is getting new characters and courses. Deltarune Chapter 2 is now on Switch. Shadow Drop. And lastly, up on screen right now, kind of crazy, Chocobo GP. I wish Tom was here. He was the one that's like been harping about wanting the return of Chocobo Racing, and it freaking happened. He willed it into existence. Like, what? Was not expecting that. I hope this comes to PlayStation. I'll be honest. I'm kind of bummed if this is Switch exclusive. I want to see all of the different tracks. We see Final Fantasy 9 in there. We saw Final Fantasy 7 in there with the Golden Saucer. I think it's Alexandria from Final Fantasy 9. VV Steiner in there. So it's kind of like if you were to do, Super Smash Bros. Of Final Fantasy, but instead of it being a fighter, being a kart racer, right? Like, it's kind of cool for anybody that's like a diehard Final Fantasy fan. This is kind of exciting. So Melodies of Life, music was in the trailer. So being a huge Final Fantasy 9 fan, second favorite Final Fantasy game of all time, to see the love that was, imbued into that trailer for that specific entry in the franchise gets me pretty hyped up. Let's put a poll in the chat. What are you going to say, Vince? You got something?
I said just hype. That's all I said.
What was your favorite announcement or reveal from the Nintendo Direct, you guys? Final question for our cast, Vince Denny. Was Nintendo Direct better than PlayStation Showcase?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just curious.
No.
A lot of people think it was.
Dumbasses.
You think they should go lick a window?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably were doing that while they're complaining on the internet.
Wow.
Probably. Wow.
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 Let's see what we got here. ActRaiser Renaissance, Metroid Dread, Splatoon 3. Who voted for Splatoon 3? Thunder is quiet. I want to understand people that are into Splatoon.
What, you don't like the splat?
The atmosphere of that game does not connect with me at all. Like a negative connection, actually. It kind of offends me.
Really?
It's just really, I really don't like it. I really don't like the atmosphere of the Splatoon games.
It offends you.
It offends.
It does.
It's not even just like, it's not my thing. You're like, I'm offended that this exists.
A little bit. Here's another thing. KOTOR Switch getting the most votes, actually. Do you think they release KOTOR original on PlayStation? Or do you think at this point it's like, no, we're not going to do it because it's being remade?
It's the only platform that it won't be available on is
Right.
PlayStation.
Because
everyone else
there,
has
maybe?
it. Unless it's a pre-order bonus for the remake.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're saving it for.
Yeah.
Hold on. What am I not reading? Did he put his
put his wager in the Discord?
Okay, I will look there. Hold on. We got a wager from Store. I wager all my SP, he says. We will unironically appreciate the Super Mario Brothers movie from the 90s more than we appreciate the modern Mario movie featuring a star cast. How do you quantify that, though? How do we award that? What's going to be the delineation on, yep, he's right, or no, he's wrong?
I guess it's just up to you because you do Lights Up.
Could
I
always
feel like
be
this is not just Lights Up.
You're
This is like a video game.
Could be a
Judge, jury,
community
and
poll.
executioner.
Could be a community poll in the Discord after that.
I think
movie
it has
comes
to
out.
be. I think it has to be a community poll, but I think it has to have a certain number of votes too. This can't be 5 people voted on it. We need a pretty wide consensus.
What if you tweeted out a poll?
Nobody cares about what I tweet.
I mean, hey, idea tossed out, but okay, fine.
I'm just being
whatever.
honest. I'm just being honest.
Wow. Hey, Vince, your idea sucks.
Oh my god. Drew's over here asking to speak to Platoon's manager.
I'm in
Now
a
he's
weird
just,
mood tonight,
trashing
guys.
his fucking Twitter.
I'm in a weird mood tonight. A real weird mood. I think it is. I think it is Discord. And I think we have to get a certain number of votes. I will accept this wager, but it's not going to be all your SP because by that point you're going to have so much SP. I would agree to a similar wager as others. I would be okay with a 5,000 SP wager on that.
How long does he have to wait? When the hell is this movie coming out?
That is true as well. I'm lightheaded from that laugh I just put out. Oh my god.
This movie may not even be until the holidays next year or possibly 2023.
I thought, wasn't it announced for holiday 2022? Was I wrong reading that?
I'm just trying to gain my.
Rick's
I'm
got
like
a point.
seriously lightheaded right now.
Rick's got a point. Store never spends it. Let him do it.
All right. But here's the thing, like, if he wins, then he's gonna have like 3 times as many points as anybody else next season.
How about this? If Store wins, he becomes a mod for a month.
Oof, that is dangerous, dude.
So Nintendo's feature-length animated Mario movie is coming December 21st, 2022 in the United States.
You know what? The store might not even be around at that point. So
Wow.
I'll accept it.
All right, I'm putting it in the books.
There you go. Everyone's saying yes. I don't know how Store is posting yes that fast without being like.
Yeah, how's he doing that? I thought you had to be a mod to post like that. Maybe Store is a mod.
Maybe it's for because he's VIP. Maybe it's VIP's allowed to.
How about a week? I'd be okay with Store being being a mod for being a wad for a mod for a week.
And,
How about mod for a week?
oh my God.
I think that's fine. Give
Man,
the,
Store.
give the people what they want, and they want Store as a mod for a week.
This is not a negotiation.
I don't know. It sounds like it's a negotiation.
Well, Duroc wants 2 months. Now you have to negotiate because kind of in the middle now.
How did we go up? We were at a month, and now we're going up.
Rick is saying a month as well. I'm sorry. It
Let me
seems like
ask you,
the majority
Vince,
of the
you actually have
chat is saying
experience
a
with
month.
this. How has Store performed for you as a mod?
For me?
For
both
Vince,
mods.
Vince has had Store as a mod.
Oh, he hasn't shown up to one of my streams in a very long time.
Wow.
But hey, you know what? Here, I will give him this credit here. Whenever he was modding on my channel, he actually did a really good job.
Here's the thing. I'm busting balls because, I mean, Store is a stickler for rules.
He is.
If anybody would be a good mod, it probably would be Store.
Yeah, you told him not to drop an F. Like, he'll only have 1 F-bomb a day, and he's held on to that. So.
Yeah. You know what?
And we've seen his internet speeds. You should give it to him.
December, what was the date, Vince? Can you tell me?
21st.
December
2022.
21st, 2022. We will
It's
put
happening.
together a community poll with certain parameters that must be hit. If it turns out that the community, let's be honest, everybody's going to vote to make Store a mod. But if the community votes that Super Mario Brothers 1993 is a more enjoyable movie in any way, shape, or form than the new Super Mario Brothers movie, I will allow Store to be a mod for a full month. It is official. Put it in the books. Put it in the books.
Doing it right now.
Where's Duroc's wager?
Duroc didn't have one. He was just saying he was pointing up to it.
Oh, okay. It's done. It's in the books. Let us go to another commercial break. When we come back, we are getting into my Pub Tank video game pitch. Hold on, Duroc. We'll be back in just a little bit. Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 3 of Next Level Gamecast, the Level Up Network's monthly gaming talk show, live on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show on the 4th Sunday of every month. Make sure you never miss an episode, hit that heart button, and turn notifications so you get alerts whenever we go live with either variety gaming or talk shows. Please give Vince a follow as well on his respective channel, Agent Vincent 4756. He's in the chat. He posted his command as well, so you can get in there. Of course, we also archive these episodes on our YouTube at youtube.com/The Level Up Network. If you're watching this right now as an archive, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, make sure you get notifications whenever we upload new videos. And of course, become a part of the community even when we are not live on Discord at discord.gg/The Level Up Network. That was a quick dog walk.
Yeah. Just
Dog.
Yeah.
Just to pay.
We just went number 1. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he just went number 1.
Number 1. Okay. In a weird mood tonight, you guys. Where was I? I don't even know where I'm at. We are about to get into our seasonal segment. To anybody that's new to it, it's called Pub Tank. It's like Shark Tank, but for video game pitches. Now, unfortunately, Tom is not here, which kind of throws a wrench in the works because we had like a budget between us. So, Denny, maybe you are in control of Tom's money tonight. I think he had $10 million left.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm down with this, considering Tom is quote unquote indisposed.
Yeah. So
I actually have no idea what this is.
So have you ever watched Shark Tank?
I have watched Shark Tank.
So now at Shark Tank, they come out and they say like, oh, we've got this product. I am looking for $500 million for a 10% stake in my company kind of thing. I'm going to be doing that with a video game idea that I'm going to pitch. And I'm allowing you guys as publishers to invest in my idea. It's a role play. Right. So we started the season with each of us having $20 million. Vince, I believe, is down to $10 million now. And Denny, as Tom, you are now down to $10 million that you could potentially invest in my idea for a certain percentage stake in the IP if you would like.
Right.
Once you've listened to the spiel. Does
right.
that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. With that,
if it's Edith Finch 2, you're not getting any of my money.
It is not Edith Finch 2. I'll tell you right now that it is not Edith Finch 2. Let me make sure I've got everything up and running here. I do. Okay. And with that, let us head over to our team of Suffer Studio. We are Suffer Studio. Very new team. Relatively small team, but we have a very, very ambitious idea for you guys today. And I'm gonna make my pitch first before we even talk about the money side of things. I want you guys to hear what we're all about with this project. All right. So first off, I think where we need to start is the world that we're trying to create. This world is called Elasorbia. Vince is already shaking his head. Elasorbia. Let's break it down, all right? Elysis, Latin for broken to pieces. Orbis, meaning world. This is a broken world. And how did this world break?
Listen to this fucking nerd.
Several millennia ago, a small moon crashed into the planet of Elasorbia, and with it, it released the souls of a very ancient but advanced civilization called the Tiric into the areas of impact on this planet. Now, this was a really long time ago, so civilization had to build up around these impact zones, and they had to construct these massive walls around the soul's spawn that had been released from the impact zones. And these walls are massive, absolutely massive, some of them 50 feet tall. So it's really impacted the way the world has progressed as a result of that. It's the driving force, really, for the overall narrative, and even beyond the world affects how the main characters have grown within this world. All right? Do they happen to have plates? They do not have plates, no, Rick. Let's talk about the visual identity of the world a little bit here. So the aesthetic within civilization's walls is very mechanical, right? But I don't want you to take that as steampunk. This is not a steampunk world within the walls. It is steam powered. So we're looking at a world that feels like it's from a long time ago. Very fantastical and in that way, right? I don't want this to feel steampunk. That is not what we're going for with our project here. But this interior to the walls is very, very much a contrast to what is happening in what we call the outer lands, in the areas outside of the walls. Those can be very natural and beautiful. They are existing in nature. I don't even want to say been taken back by nature, because that's not the case. It's just they've never been taken by civilization, right? So they can be very natural and beautiful, but they can also be very desolate and haunting, especially as you get close to certain impact zones have been corrupted and poisoned by what has happened within those areas. Shadow of the Colossus, for me, it was a major inspiration for the outer lands, and in how it feels very lonely in a lot of ways and desolate and haunting, as I said before. What's a really strong impact visually on this game is the overlooming structures that have extended out of these impact zones. There's these massive, as you can see on the rotating world, these massive crystal spires that have protruded out and tower hundreds and hundreds of feet into the sky. You can see them from almost any point on the map, which we'll talk about later on. This is not an open world, but this is a world that you can see all of these major monuments from really any point because of how large that they are. All right. And what's also interesting, once again, about the visual identity is that we talked about a very mechanical, old fantasy nature of the interior walls, the beautiful, natural, but also haunting exterior of the Outer Lands. And then you have a very advanced technology of the areas of the Crystal Spires. This civilization, what's grown out of these spires, you can see technology flowing through them. So you've got these three pillars, right, that are intentionally in very strong contrast with each other as far as the atmosphere of this world. Moving on from that, let's talk about the structure of this world. As I said, it is not open world. You guys know how I feel about open world. I'm not really the biggest fan. We do not want to go in that direction. But there are elements for sure of open world within this game, as we will discuss. What's most important to me, as you might expect, is that we want to tell a very strong linear narrative within this game. That being said, within the towns, for example, those are going to be linear, right? You've literally got walls enclosing these towns, bridges between towns that are enclosed within walls. So that's where you get a lot of that linear nature. There are also major zones, though, within the 5 major cities of this world. Those are going to be expansive, dense, something like The Witcher 3, for example. These are massive cities with lots to do, lots of hustle and bustle and people living within them, side quests to be taken, bounties to be taken on, side quests, all that is there to explore within the major cities. The journeys that happen towards the impact zone, which is the major crux of this game, are wide linear, which I think you guys know that I love very much. Think of Shadow of the Colossus when you have this open world, right? But you know where you're going, right? You hold up that sword, you have the light beam guiding you to the Colossi. In the case of our game here, instead of Colossi, you are trying to find your way towards the impact zones, these crystal spires that tower hundreds of feet in the sky, but the puzzle is figuring out, how do I traverse this environment and get to that location within this wide linear structure? Okay. So about a class system, a little bit more about like how the structure of this world has affected the way people have grown as a civilization. Probably not too much of a response, but when you fracture a world like this, civilizations that build up in response to that also are fractured in a sort of class system. Upper class living in the kingdoms, middle classes living in the towns and cities that are within the walls, and then of course the lower class being pushed out into the outer lands, this harsh environment where the souls of the Tyrek can be this malevolent force the closer and closer you get to the impact zones. The world is filled with a lot of races, lots of fantastic creatures, and there's going to be opportunities there for racism, to be blunt, towards a lot of these races. A lot of these races are going to be the ones that are forced out into the outer lands, and you will experience that throughout the game. This is our world, to go a little further here. This is Elosorbia, and I think that would be a good time actually to zoom in a little bit closer and take a look at this. Let me grab onto my other screen here. Hold on one second, guys. And I want to be able to zoom in for you. Let's see if this works. It does. Okay. So, for instance, over here, one of the major cities of our world, Orendath, really where the narrative will begin in a lot of ways. You can see the walls that travel. And this is a diagrammatic map. Don't take this as a scale thing, because it's actually going to be much larger than this in scale. But you can see how you have these little towns that are bridging between these worlds. And then you have this major gate here that leads into the outer lands, heading towards one of our first impact zones, the Zircon Crater. But there are a total of 8 impact zones. You have Zircon Crater, you have Lake Amethyst, Ruby Cliffs, Sunstone Island, North Diamond, Onyx Water, Emerald Mountain, and Citrine Caves. Obviously, all of those inspired by precious gems, which is somewhat important to the narrative of this game. He took some time with this. Told you guys, I put some work into this. I really had a good time with this. This was a fun time.
And Tom just made a dog game, right? Am I remember that
Tom
correctly?
made a really impressive dog game.
Okay.
I was really a fan of what Tom did. It was very cool. Very, very cool. So that's a good example there, just of how you traverse, right? If you go down here, you're heading towards another city of Thramden and the town outside of that, but that heads towards Ruby Cliffs. Duradror and its impact zone outside of that being Lake Amethyst, right? So it's very important to see how you have a lot of different atmospheres based on where you're going impact zone wise. Zircon Crater, you can see the dead trees that surround that, right? This, as you go towards that, is very desolate. And it's a question of how do we get into this crater, for example. Lake Amethyst is a meteorite that crash landed and created this huge dwell within the planet. And of course, that filled in to become this lake. So you actually have to traverse the water to get to the structure of crystals. Ruby Cliffs, that's literally built out over the side of the cliff. So now we're getting into some of the traversal mechanics we'll get into later, where how do you sideline this cliff and get up into the Ruby Cliffs and the crystals that are on there, for example. All right, with that, hold on one sec. Let me go back to our main outline here. Okay. And let's get into our plot a little bit. The prologue. And I'm good. There's so much that I could talk about here because I have outlined a lot of this in my head, but we don't have the time for it. So I'm going to kind of speed run a little bit of what this story is about. Prologue. There's a good family. They live in the vicinity of Orendoth. And for reasons I'm not going to go into immediately, their family household is invaded by Orendothian soldiers, and the mother and father are both murdered in cold blood, and their son is kidnapped. This boy is raised as a prince of Orendoth. But the more important thing is that there was actually a little sister as well, a baby sister, that one of the soldiers finds and is unable to bring himself to kill. He takes her and he runs away with her to the Outer Lands, where he raises her as his own. Does he have spiky hair? Who are we talking about? One of them probably does, yes. Somebody has spiky hair. Let's talk about the characters. Malik, the king of Orendoth. Benevolent ruler, actually. Loved by his people. This is the man that ordered the assault on this family, killed this mother and father in cold blood, and stole this child. But he's loved. He's a loved ruler of this kingdom. But he's unable to have children of his own. He's trying to find his way to control genealogy, and beyond that too, there's more reasons for why he did this. A nature and prophecy being one of them, which we can go into later if you guys want. Let's talk about Lucian. He is the boy that was kidnapped. When we really get into the start of this game, many years later after the kidnapping, he is now 21 years old, been raised by Malik to be a very strong leader and warrior. But as he's grown up, he's become obsessed with the eradication of the Tyrrhic souls, trying to find some plan of destruction to eliminate all 8 spires from the world with some sort of ultimate weapon that he is creating. Moving on from that, you have Baba. He is 45 years old. He is the one that took the young girl and ran away with her. Baba's not his real name, is what he goes by. He is unable to face the shame he feels for taking part in the murder of Lucian's parents, and he lies to the sister about his involvement in that. Never tells her about kidnapping the brother, what happened there, and he has spent his life seeking redemption by protecting her and raising her as best as he can. Trains her to be a capable warrior and also an engineer, often goes out on hunts and bounties with the girl whose name is Bree, 18 years old. All that she has from her real family is an opal pendant necklace given to her by her father. Important to note that opal is a combination of many precious gems, right? Growing up in the Outer Lands, she is a fierce... That's just, it's funny. Sorry. All right. Growing up in the Outer Lands, she is a very fierce, capable warrior, of course. She runs a farm and a repair shop with Baba just outside the walls. Raised as an engineer, repairs are very important. And she believes Baba's truths and lies, and because of that, she has grown up to absolutely despise the Orendothian Empire. She's obsessed and consumed with a desire for vengeance. She's very caring and selfless. Baba tried to instill those values upon her, but you can see that this is a girl that has this fire, anger that is burning inside of her, and she can very easily succumb to that. Let's talk about the catalyst in our story. This is how the game really starts, beyond the prologue. When out hunting on a bounty, Baba and Bree are outmatched by a massive beast, and Bree is killed. The opal pendant of her necklace activates, transporting Bree to the soul realm where she can speak with the Tyrrhic elders. They offer Bree the opportunity for a second life, but in exchange, she must agree to a mission. She must destroy the Orandothian Empire, and more importantly, she must kill Lucian, her brother, that she doesn't know is her brother. So now we're getting into what this game is really, right? It's a Souls game in its essence. And let's talk about it a little bit further. Soul states. Before murdering Lucian, her main mission, given to her by the Tyrrhic elders, she must go on a pilgrimage to all 8 impact zones to activate the crystals. To help Bree on her quest, they do give her the power of soul states. The Tyrrhic were so technologically advanced that they literally mastered death. They are masters of death through time travel, essentially. So why don't they use it themselves? The reason for that is the moon crash separating their world has put them into a state of limbo within the soul realm. So she starts off with one available soul state that they give to her. And that can be placed anywhere at any time, right? As long as she has it available to her. And it's a duplicate. It's a literal duplicate of Bree in that moment. So in death, in normal fashion, if Bree dies, she transports back to the soul state. She loses all of her items, her experience, anything that was gained since creating that soul state. And she starts there. She can travel back in normal Souls fashion to the location of her death. She will find the opal pendant remaining, and she will be able to reabsorb the opal pendant. I can't even look at the chat right now.
You can't. No, you can't.
You guys are the worst. Bree can recreate and move soul states as well, but only after absorbing enough souls, which is something that happens in battle, or absorbing souls from something that we'll get into later called splinters in a moment. So at the creation of a soul state, Bree can travel back to the soul realm for upgrades. An example of an upgrade would be an ability that she gains where she can create soul decoys. That's one example that we won't elaborate any further, but that's an example of a soul state she can activate with upgrades. The activation of each crystal on the pilgrimage will open up availability of an additional soul state. So with multiple soul states placed, they act as fast travel points. She can travel between soul states. So when she travels back to a soul state from before, it erases that. She doesn't lose any experience, but she's now traveled back to a previous soul state and kind of absorbed that soul and going back to that. So there's a fast travel system in that way. And as you're fighting, like let's say you put down a soul state and you're fighting, you're waiting for that second soul state to refill, or maybe you use both soul states and you're fighting and battling to regain those soul states. So it's almost like it's a time-based mechanic and also a battle paced mechanic where you're trying to get those soul states back in order to place them down. And there's also splinters throughout the world. Let me put this back up on screen for a moment. You can see all these little splinters around the zones, little red here, little blue there, right around. Those are splinters. Those are areas where you can quickly absorb a lot of souls and gain soul states back, for example. These are a good way for her to spend those on abilities as well. Let's talk about combat. As an engineer, Bree has designed the primary weapon of the game. It's called the Whip Sword, very much inspired by Raya and the Last Dragon. When I watched that movie, I immediately thought this would be a really cool video game weapon. And not just for combat, but for traversal, right? In combat, the sword will allow her to close distance between the enemies. Small enemies, she'll be able to use that grapple to pull them towards her. If it's a large enemy, she pulls herself towards the enemy. And the blade can be upgraded, of course, as well, up to 30 feet maximum by the end of the game if you maximize extension for that sword, which allows for, an example, a very impressive radial spin, but also traversal is very important to that extension. Its grappling ability is paramount to traversal in this game. Pulling Bree up to distant ledges, swinging across wide gaps, Uncharted style, for example, breaking open distant containers, pressing otherwise unreachable buttons for puzzles. These are the kind of mechanics that you're going to need to figure out how do you get to the locations of the impact zones. The puzzle of figuring out how to get there. This will allow for previously inaccessible areas to now open up when or if you return to them later. So now we're adding in a Metroidvania aspect as well, right? Where you're going to be able to go back to previous impact zones especially at the very end of the game when you have access to something which we'll discuss, where you could, hey, now I can swing along the sides of the Ruby Cliffs in a way that allows me to get to this ledge I couldn't get to before. Or maybe I've got a larger extension to be able to hit this ledge on the Emerald Mountains, or cross a gap within the caves of Citrine because of your extension of your sword. As an engineer, Bree is also very capable of upgrading her whip sword. She just needs appropriate parts and, of course, the quill, which is Elisorian currency. Additional upgrades include, for example, ability to grapple onto heavy objects, swing them around and throw them in an attack, put a gem slots on your sword where elemental stones can be bound to the sword. Emerald for green fire, amethyst for purple water, diamond for ice, citrine for earth, etc. Secondary weapons. That's not just the only weapon in the game. It is your primary weapon, but secondary weapons can be used in collaboration with the whip sword. You could, of course, put a shield with it. You could put a crossbow for long distance. You could do a staff, which is very important for certain magical spells. A gauntlet as well for close combat, melee, something a little heavier in close quarters, and more. Each will have its own upgrade path. Leveling up, quill, specific parts for crafting, all necessary things that you will need to travel throughout the cities in order to obtain. Side quests you'll have to do, bounties for massive beasts that you'll have to complete in order to get certain parts or the quill required to upgrade. And those can be bought or upgraded at armorers, blacksmiths, etc. The usual, right? So about some of the themes and goals overall of this game. I think you guys can probably tell that obsession is a big part of it. Both Bree and Lucian are battling obsession. Bree has this massive lust for revenge, and Lucian has this mission that he must destroy the Tyrrhic no matter the cost. And I think the question that the player will start to have throughout the game, and this is not something that's supposed to be subtle, it's obvious, but does the Oriendathian Empire deserve to be destroyed? Does it need to be destroyed? I know a terrible act started this story with the murder of the parents, but why did it happen? What is the prophecy? Why was it done? What is the Tyrric's ulterior motives, if anything? Why are they trying to get Bree to activate all the crystals? Why are they trying to get Bree to specifically murder Lucian? And these are the questions that you'll have throughout the game, of course. Bree is going on a massive journey. This is a pilgrimage, right? And she's going to be thrown into a lot of world events throughout the game. This is not just a Souls game. This is not just a Metroidvania game. When she is traveling between continents, for example, when she's going from Thramden to Thera, traveling past the Soulstone Island, maybe there is an event that we have planned where that is one of the most dangerous and it's the largest structure of the Tyrrhic throughout the game, and there are a lot of, as you can see, nasty beasts in the area, and there's a lot of potential for those enemies to travel to the shores of Thramden and Thera for an attack. And during her traversal between continents, she is thrown into that massive set piece, for example. That's just one example, of world events, story events, this linear story we're trying to tell, where it's not just about, hey, travel here, activate crystal, travel here, activate crystal. There is this overarching narrative and world building that happens as well. And each time she creates or it completes a pilgrimage to one of the structures and activates them, it affects Bree in a way. You can see this visually on her. I, again, kind of was inspired by Shadow of the Colossus in this way, where you can see sort of her taking on some of the properties of the Tyrrhic, actually, each time she activates these crystals. And on top of that, she's got to defeat this massive monster at the core of these areas. That is the main boss battle of each of them. And when she does, that spirit, that soul she brings on is one that she can then bring out in combat as well, as a sort of summon. So she is taking on a lot when she does this. She's affecting herself, and what is the consequence of that in the end? And that's really what we're trying to tackle here with our game, Souls Divide. Questions, please.
like it.
All right. Denny, I think, fell asleep.
Then he
No,
did fall asleep.
I'm still here. I thought you were doing more.
No, questions, please.
What is your plan for DLC so we can make more money off this game?
This is not something where I want to do DLC, but I do want this to be a franchise. This is not a singular entry, and that's it. We are asking you to invest in an IP here. And does the next game have Bree? Does the next game have Evolution? Not necessarily. I think that this is a anthology franchise for sure, with many elements that will continue throughout. But I think I'm trying to tell a start and finish story here with Souls Divide. Lucian's story will end with this game. Bree's story will end with this game.
Spoilers.
Wow, yeah. Are there microtransactions in this game?
No, there are not. There are no microtransactions whatsoever in this game.
Okay.
Not even a cosmetic. That's not what we're going for here. This is a complete game from start to finish. You know, that's what this is. Not games as a service. It's not any of that. We have a story we want to tell. We know what that is. We want to bring the player on a journey. Should I go to the chat?
Chat's making it really hard to focus.
You definitely don't want to. You definitely don't want to go to the chat.
You do not want to go to the chat. So
Mel wants to draw Bree. I really wanted to take a shot at drawing Bree, but I did not have the time.
Yeah.
Or the paper to fit her massive breast.
Oh my god.
You guys are the worst.
Her cup doesn't runneth over.
So is there a post game at all with this?
Yeah,
title?
so let's talk about that a little bit. As I was saying, this world becomes completely accessible to you at the end of the game. There are airships in this game. So once you have activated all 8 crystals, you yourself have become a master of death as well. Mistress of death, if you want to call it that. You are so powerful at that point that you can immediately travel back to the soul when it dies. Now, because of that, enemies become very difficult as the game goes on. As you gain more and more soul states, obviously, you're able to put down more soul states. So the enemies that you're going against are going to become pretty brutal as the game goes on. This is not going to be an easy game. This is typical Souls, where as it goes on, it's going to become very, very challenging. But the reward for that in the end is the airship and being able to easily travel back to previous zones, land in certain cities that have airship landing zones, going back to cities, taking on bounties, running out into the outer lands, finding massive beasts to kill. Lots of side content here. You know, it's got an open world structure in a lot of ways. I just don't want that to be the focus. The focus of this game is not open world, but it does have a lot of those elements, right?
Okay.
They're there for the people that enjoy that kind of thing. I wanted to be able to give something to everybody. Like, to me, like, I love wide linear. So the outer lands have a wide linear structure. I love linear, so the traversal points between cities is that way. But I do love the open cities of Witcher, so you have that. You've got Metroidvania aspects in there with returning to previous zones. It's got all these elements that I enjoy, and I think a lot of people enjoy, without kind of overstating those as well.
Would you have any invasion mechanics at all? Any multiplayer mechanics here? Is this strictly just single player?
I haven't contemplated any type of multiplayer mechanics. I'm certainly open to it, but my fear would be that it would be at the detriment of the challenge that I want the game to have. I don't want it to be this failsafe of like, hey, let's bring in, you know, a second player to make this battle easy. I don't want that to be a loophole or some crutch that people fall upon.
What about only in a strictly PvP setting? Like, it's not cooperative. It's maybe another player would invade this world to prevent Bree's journey. Is that something that you're thinking of, or is that still
I think
kind of
narratively speaking, I don't really see how that fits in myself.
Okay.
And I look at that more as a hindrance to me and the story that I'm trying to tell. So I would say no is my opinion right now on that.
Okay. Hour-long cutscenes, as Miss Mel said.
No, it's going to have it's very narrative driven, and you're going to have long periods of time where there are no cutscenes, because when you go into the Outer Lands and you are traveling towards a zone, it is you in gradually getting into more and more isolation. You're going to have people that stick very close to the walls, that have their houses in the outer lands very close to the walls, and they're trying to keep themselves safe as far away from the impact zones as possible. But as you get closer and closer to the impact zones, you are in isolation. You are in something more haunted feeling, but sometimes beautiful as a result of that. I imagine, for example, on the way to the Ruby Cliffs, I imagine that you've got this crazy thunderstorm and lightning hitting the spires, but behind that, you've got this beautiful view of the ocean because it's overlooking the ocean. And it's this cool contrast of the two, but it's haunting and beautiful at the same time. But I imagine like it being very Uncharted-esque in that way, where you are, that's one of the reasons we need a lot more people on this project, because animations are going to be so important here. We want all of this to feel so smooth. It's not just a combat game. It's not just an RPG. Like, you are swinging along the sides of this cliff. You are swinging and then jumping off and shooting off your sword and grabbing a ledge and pulling yourself up off to it and swinging again. And all of this needs to smoothly go together. And it's the same in combat as well, where you might have an enemy in the sky and you grapple yourself to the enemy, bring yourself up to it. You're slicing through an enemy in air, juggling the enemy before looking at another enemy on the ground, and warp sword style in a way, grappling to that and then moving to that enemy and kind of going enemy to enemy in that way and switching between your secondary weapons on the fly, and utilizing those at the right moments,
So when you're saying Souls like, but you're also describing this combat system, are you talking more of a like Devil May Cry, more God of War style combat, all with a Souls like punishment system, I guess if you want to say that, or are you looking more to actually
It's more action based than Souls for sure.
Okay.
It's a little bit fast paced. This is a character
Fast-paced.
action game in a lot of ways, when it comes down to it. Bree is the main character. You will go to major moments where you are focused on Lucian, like long moments where you might even be in his shoes for a little while, because we want people to connect with him. He is not a bad person. His father, in a lot of ways, I don't want people to look at as a bad person. They think what they're doing is very important towards the existence of the world. These crystal spires have been growing for years and years, and they're continuing to grow. So much so that the fear is that it is, what will be the word for it, when an alien technology is sort of taking over a planet. I'm trying to remember the word for that, but that is what's happening essentially. Is the world is terraforming. The world is becoming their world, they fear. And that is where the obsession Lucian has comes with destroying these spires before it's too late and they lose their world. So they have a mission, and you're going to be put in their shoes very often, to see like what they're trying to accomplish and some of the hardships they're encountering throughout the world, that they're trying to combat.
Okay, and I guess the final question here is, what are you looking for as support-wise? Like,
we need to grow our team a lot. This is a huge project. It's bigger in my mind than a lot of what the Souls games are trying to accomplish, because it is merging so many different aspects together. So we need a large investment. In honesty, I'm really hoping that we can get both of you on board. $10 million from each of you, and you would have a 5% stake each in the future of this IP. I know that values this at a very high production budget. You're looking at 20 times 10. You're looking at a $200 million game here. I understand that, but I think that's realistic in the scope of what we're trying to accomplish.
Are you going to release a real-time app trailer?
No, I am not. A demo, maybe.
A demo, maybe. Okay.
I want people to understand how strong this combat system is, for sure.
Are you going to announce it 5 years before the actual day of the game coming out?
I am right now.
Okay.
So you said 10 million for 5%?
Each of you would be 10 million for 5%. We need 20 million. We need both of you on board. Danny, how are you feeling about the idea?
I mean, it's a cool idea. I like it, but that's a huge budget for something brand new coming out that I don't know if. I mean, it could be a great game, but I don't know if it would actually have the sales for it, honestly, because
In our mind, I think it has the sales potential. I think it is hitting many markets right now, especially. I think having souls in the title, having those aspects clear within the structure of the game will automatically grab on to that hungry audience within the Souls genre. But I think what we're trying to accomplish here is a Western studio making a Japanese RPG. And I think when I say that, I mean we're trying to really deliver on the strengths of what the West has accomplished in recent years as far as production value presentation in a narrative capacity. I think it's personally, I still feel like it is a stronger aspect than what Japan has typically offered. And I think when you have something that is going to be visually stunning and so epic in scale, and when people see the combat and they see how fluid it is and see how tight it is and exciting, and when they see the awesome character design of Bree, I think people are gonna eat it up.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this your studio's first game?
It is.
So this big, expansive, imaginative project that you want this huge budget for, to create a team for this, there is a large percentage that this just falls completely flat and doesn't deliver on like half of the promises that you're giving for this game.
There's always that chance, of course.
Yeah.
I think we've built a team already that has legacy in the industry. Of course, it's not like this is our studio, Suffer Studios' first game, but we have brought in great talent. We're a small team, and when I say small, I say we're 50 right now. We need to be 100, 150, maybe even 200 people is what we need.
Well, I gotta be like 100% honest with you. I'm on board because this isn't my money, and so I'm looking forward to getting a very angry text from Tom within the next few days of him watching the VOD, and I'm in for it.
Okay. I'll take it, I guess. I wish
Because
you were,
I
I wish you
actually-
were more on board. I wish you believed in us
honestly,
stronger.
honestly, I mean, from being burned on video games before in the past, I'm very, very cautious about it. But I do really like the points that you make and what you're trying to set out to do with it. And I just know, just from what you said, I would like 110% if I saw this. I would be so excited, and I'd be like day one play for me.
That's what I
Because
want to hear.
it does checks like everything that I like love in games. I love all that stuff that you've like, all the Metrovania stuff. I obviously love the Soul stuff. I love the not semi open world, kind of linear open world, whatever you want to call it. Like
Yeah.
I like that, so I'll spend Tom's money on it.
Damn it, Rick. What are you doing, man?
I mean, in all honesty, though, I actually was feeling that. Like, 10% was kind of more what I was feeling.
Here's the thing. You are valuing this project at $100 million if you both take, actually, scratch that. If you both take 10%, taking 20% of this IP at a $20 million investment, yeah, you are valuing this game at $100 million. And I fear that we will not be able to execute on the vision at that evaluation.
Well, I don't know.
Is it? Are you saying it's a deal breaker for you?
No, I just don't. I think 5% is too low.
How about 7.5% each?
I think 8 sounds better. I like even numbers better.
I like 8.
Bree will have a jawline carved out of
In
adamantium.
marble.
Adamantium. They're gonna use
Wait.
adamantium to carve Bree's adamantium jawline.
Hold on a second. How much will Bree look like Abby from Last of Us 2?
Not at all, honestly. She's not muscular. This is not a world where people can bodybuild.
That
But
sounds
she
like
is-
that sounds like a 10% deal for me, man.
She is a fierce warrior. She's not going to look any less than that. This is somebody that has grown up living in the Outer Lands, doing bounties every single day with Baba, and tackling this world. I mean, she can handle herself for the most part. Of course, she is overcome by an absolutely massive beast at the start of the game. But she is a very capable warrior that's only going to become more and more capable as the game goes on.
Feeling a strong 8%.
Yeah, I feel like 8% is a nice compromise for both parties here.
Hold on a sec. Let me do the math.
That's fine. Do they make a happy face for you?
You are valuing the game at $125 million. Okay. I think we're gonna struggle. I think. I don't want to compromise the vision, but this is only the first round of investments, right?
First
So-
round.
I think getting in on kind of the ground floor here is important, and getting people that believe in this. I know that Denny does, but Vince, I need to hear from you. Like, do you believe in this project?
I believe in the project. I believe that you have done your market research correctly, and I do think that you are definitely hitting notes for sure. Your biggest thing that is going to hurt you is it's not going to be the story. It's going to be the combat. And so your animation team and your combat design team needs to be just pure.
Yes.
It needs to be fire. Everything else is secondary. But the animation on top of the actual gameplay structure is going to be the most important thing here. And if we can get that to be nailed, everything else will fall into place.
I agree with you. As much as I am a very narrative-driven person, like one of the things I've been most excited about planning this is the combat mixed with the Souls structure, because I don't think there has been a game that has approached Souls in this action-based way yet.
And I agree with that for sure.
And I think also with this type of world structure as well, you have not seen a Souls game. It is a Souls game. Don't get me wrong. It's derivative of that, but I think we have found a unique approach to soul states and how it works within this world, the way you level up your soul states and add more into your inventory and can use those at the right moments. It's all about strategizing of when do I want to place a soul state? Am I going to be able to gain another soul state by the time I need it? Things like that. Using them as fast travel points as well, even, is all going to come into play. And I think there's ways to expand upon that and make it even more impressive. Okay, 8%.
8%.
I'm on board. 16%.
All right.
The two of you, $10 million each, a part of Suffer Studio, and the future of Souls Divide working title. Congratulations.
And congratulations to you on a well done pitch.
Thank you.
Actually, no, seriously, dude, nice job. Seriously, the rotating map was just fantastic.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Okay.
I do want to go back and read all the chat. It was just too much.
You go do it like later.
my
There,
God.
yeah. There's do it like tomorrow. Go back and read it because there is a lot.
Not one shot like God of War. No, sorry, that's not the plan. Not one shot like God of War. I do want it. It's not hyper realistic, but it's not cartoony like Kana. I do think you need a little bit of a middle ground. Honestly, I do think of 7 Remake myself as being a nice example of a great middle ground. I'll stop
Actually,
there.
actually got a really good, almost like what Forspoken is kind of doing, kind of vibe from what you're
I would want it to be less realistic than Forspoken myself.
realistic, as in
Like they're doing like facial motion capture with that. I want it to be a little bit more.
I meant more like the overall art of everything that's
Yes,
going
the
on.
world I think you could say will look a lot like Forspoken. Yes.
Yeah.
The characters less so. Yeah, I want the characters to feel very stylized. I might commission Mel to draw.
There you go.
Oh God, did he really draw Bree in
I
Selfie
hope
Love?
not.
Oh my God. Where is it? Where is it?
It's definitely safe for work.
It's safe for work.
Pizza store.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me hide what do I need to hide here? I'm not even sure. There you go.
So
Bree,
good.
everybody! We found Bree. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. She looks like a warrior. Really looks like a warrior. All right, we need to move on.
Now,
Oh
if you
my
showed
God.
now if you showed me that, I would have been fine with 5%.
You don't need the muscles anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Let's get into the finale of the show here. Of course, we have to wrap things up with some of the smaller stories, although there are a lot of them in this month's Speedrun. But let's start off. We're bringing it back, you guys. Delay Watch, Battlefield 2042. Starting it off. Building the next generation of Battlefield. Oh, let me fast forward a little here. Battlefield 2042, building the next generation of Battlefield during a global pandemic has created unforeseen challenges, but they didn't delay it very much. What was it, like a month?
Like a month, like a few weeks, really, in all honesty.
Yeah. So nothing big, but doesn't it put it closer into the vicinity now of Halo?
Vanguard and Halo, I think.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I wonder if
It's
they're
very
like,
interesting.
oh, do we need to move now too? I don't know. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't.
Horizon Forbidden West, we know, delayed. Now February 18th, 2022. What are you doing, Vince? What are you doing?
I want an after show, goddammit.
Thank you, man. $30 tip, 30-minute after show. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Horizon Forbidden West, February 18th, 2022. Pre-orders started on September 2nd. Once again, of course, blaming global pandemic, needing to, keep the quality up to snuff. I'm not going to read the whole thing. So same old song and dance. But I know that part of us thought that they were going to hit this year, but I'm not upset at all.
No, I'm not upset either. I'm surprised by it in a way, but I'm not upset.
Why are you surprised, Vince?
Well, like because of where it was announced early on, and just it was one of those where it would have fit better in the current like calendar slot if that would have made sense. It would have been like a September or October release. February, it makes sense. It's going to be just now. It's now, instead of being an end all for the calendar, it's going to be the start of the calendar. It's okay.
Yeah. And lastly, Dying Light 2 was delayed, as we alluded to earlier. The game is complete, and we are currently playtesting it. Unfortunately, we've realized that for us to bring the game to the level we envision, we need more time to polish and optimize it. We are sorry to keep you all waiting a little longer, but we want the game to meet your highest expectations. All right. Honestly, I couldn't care less at this point.
I do.
You do care? Oh, okay.
I loved Dying Light 1.
Yeah,
and
Dying Light 1 was fantastic. I agree with Danny.
I want this to be so good because I love the first one so much, and I'm really liking what I see with 2, and I want them to hit the mark. So
Fuck me then. PlayStation acquires PlayStation acquires Firespray after a number of years closely collaborating on several games together, including the Playroom and Playroom VR. I couldn't be more delighted to welcome Firespray to PlayStation Studios family as our 15th studio. Quite a few members of Firespray come from SIE Studios Liverpool, and we're thrilled to welcome them back. I think this is Herman Hole saying this. Firespray is a creative and ambitious studio that is exceptional at building incredible experiences that truly showcase the potential of our hardware. The team's technical and creative capabilities will be paramount to growing our stellar catalog of exclusive games, and I think you'll be excited for what's to come. We know that they're working on 3 next-generation projects. One of them is a groundbreaking next-generation PvP shooter with a games-as-a-service focus. Another is a AAA, dark, story-driven next-generation game with genre-defining goals. And finally, a VR project, adapted from one of the most original and successful multi-million selling console IP titles in the last 10 years. Put a poll in the chat of those 3. Which are you guys most excited about? Let's start with the VR project, actually. What console IP, multi-million selling, most original and successful of the last 10 years, what IP is that?
Horizon.
You think it's Horizon?
I think so.
That would be cool, I guess.
It's either Horizon or it's Killzone.
I kind of don't want it to be Horizon.
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like I feel like there's already a danger of getting burnout on it if they've released it not that far after Horizon Forbidden West. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of don't want it to be that myself. What about you, Denny?
I'm with the Killzone.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Killzone.
Yeah. Does Killzone need to come back? I'm not so sure, but
I mean, I don't think it needs to, but I guess for VR, why not? You know?
yeah, I get what you're saying. VR.
It's either
first person
that. I
shooter.
mean, the only other thing I could think of that would fit into that same thing would be like Resistance, but I don't think they're ever going to do anything else with Resistance.
Have you guys heard the rumors that the AAA dark story driven next gen IP is Soul Reaver?
I did, and I'm not giving that any hope because I don't want my hope to be burned.
Yeah, that would be crazy, right?
Because if it's Soul Reaver, I might cry
Yeah.
on stream.
That would be pretty wild. Speaking of past Liverpool IPs, PlayStation's Wipeout is returning, but it's going to be a card-based mobile racer. Wipeout Rush, it's called, will feature unique card-based racing and a new comic book-inspired narrative. Game's official website describes Rush as a marriage of merge, idle, and card collection to influence races. Combined with a hands-on racing shown in the debut trailer on screen, it doesn't appear that players will be white-knuckle racing at hundreds of kilometers per hour, but rather managing a team and upgrading ships to win races. Not really what I think Wipeout fans wanted, I would think, but who knows? PlayStation is talking about future firmware updates already after the release of 2.0. SVP of Platform Experience Hideki Nishino, he said, "When I look back at the list of things we need to do, there's a lot. There's a lot the community is asking for as well. I want to say in the Japanese way, I am diligently working on these lists and there will be more coming out in the future. I also want to say thank you to the community. We are not just whiteboarding our desired feature. We work for customer needs. We really want to solve the problem in a delightful manner. That's our core passion. We are here for the PlayStation fans. I'm always amazed by the feedback, how much the community loves PlayStation. It's really great to hear player feedback. And at the same time, we get great feedback from creators as well. What is your most desired feature that needs to be added to PlayStation, Denny?"
Go to Vince because I got to think about this because there is one.
For me right now, it would be native 1440p support at this point. That would just be
for me. It would be themes. I want themes.
Themes.
Yeah. What about you? Denny,
I could go without themes now because it's the dashboard is like just dynamic with each game.
I hate starting on the new what's new. It's just an advertising wheel.
I like when you go into like each game, especially if it's like a PS5 game and it kind of has like they'll play the music. And
that's fine.
I love that.
But have the starting screen be your theme.
Well, then they should have that. Yeah, they should have that as a setting that you can set which block you want to be like your first one you go into. If you want it to be your last played or something like that.
Allow your home screen starting off at the what's new area to have like a theme to it. I think that would be cool, and then you can cycle through the games which fill the screen and all that. That would be my choice. The Last of Us Day was today, and there wasn't a lot. We got a little bit more during the show, but let's talk about what was there prior to the show. Last of Us Part 2 covers and rarities now streaming, I'm assuming on Spotify, and a limited edition vinyl by Mondo. The Last of Us Part 2 Joel statue by Dark Horse, which is really nice, I've looked at, and a lot of new merch. That raincoat is really nice looking, but it's $300. Yeah. The canvas backpack is really nice too, but again, really expensive. They had a note that came out at 8 p.m. that was that they are working on factions. Of course they are. And we did get our first shot of the Last of Us series today, and you guys should look it up because it looks freaking nice. Very excited.
That does.
NVIDIA GeForce had a huge leak of games, and it was weird. There was a lot of games on this list, so much so that it's like, what is this, like speculative? Is this games that they think might exist someday, so they have it in their database? But there are people that have come out now and said, like, no, this is a legitimate list, and there's a lot on here. Let's go through rapid fire some of these. Sony, Uncharted: The Legacy of Thieves Edition, which rate of bet, okay, that's confirmed. Like, that happened. So, okay. This gives some legitimacy to this. Helldivers 2, we just talked about that. You had the Arrowhead logo in that opening montage. Okay. Horizon Forbidden West, coming to PC, I guess, is what that could imply. Gran Turismo 7, coming to PC. Daracine, God of War, Returnal, all these coming to PC. Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank, Sackboy: Big Adventure, Ghost of Tsushima. So when are these coming to PC? Is the question. Probably a year or two from now. Microsoft, Gears 6, of course, they're working on Gears. Project Holland, which has been confirmed by Jez Corden to be Fable. Project Typhoon, confirmed by Jez Corden to be Contraband. Project Woodstock, confirmed by Jez Corden to be Forza. There's an Untitled Initiative game, which is not Perfect Dark, I guess. Or maybe it is. Maybe they just didn't update the title. But I would think maybe it's another one. But that's weird, right? Because as we're about to get to, do they really have the capacity to be working on anything besides Perfect Dark? We'll talk about that in a moment. Halo 5 Guardians, which I guess never got a PC release. So that's
never
on
did.
there. Avowed, Kalimba, Indus, Gravity. Those sound like code names to me.
I think Indus is the Wasteland 3 devs. Shit.
Okay.
That's their steampunk, apparently, thing,
Gotcha.
I think.
Okay. Let's head over to Square Enix, where I get real excited in pants. Chrono Cross Remaster, please. Yes. Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. Will I finally play that game? That would be awesome. Final Fantasy VII Remake, probably alluding to the PC release eventually finally coming out. Here's where it gets interesting. Final Fantasy IX Remake. Okay. So, we have Final Fantasy IX Remaster. The bummer, as far as I understand, is that it actually did not come out on PC. So that it might just be talking about that. The Final Fantasy IX Remaster that was on PS4. But oh man, what if like the reason that they're doing the TV show and Final Fantasy IX is so heavily featured in the Chocobo GP, like, what if they're working on like a halfway there type remake in comparison to 7? What if it's, okay, we're going to recreate this with like new beautiful pre-rendered backgrounds, new character models, new orchestrated score, voice acting, but otherwise it's the same game. You know what I mean? Like we're not turning this into like an action RPG with a new perspective. It's the original game, but completely redone. Like I would fill the cup over that. Like seriously, I would fill the cup. I would be so in for that. So I don't want to get my hopes up, but that oh my god would be amazing. Final Fantasy 16. I think we all know that that's coming to PC eventually. I'm pretty sure that's not a PS5 console exclusive. Like 100%, it's going to come to PC as well. Tomb Raider Anniversary and Kingdom Hearts 4 was on there. I really hope they're working on Kingdom Hearts 4. I assume that they are.
They are.
I hope it's a sort of halfway reboot of the franchise. Denny. Didn't you actually jump in on one of the more recent Kingdom Hearts and you didn't hate it, I thought? No, you hate it?
No.
You still hate it?
Yeah, I hated it. I tried playing 1 and I literally wanted to throw it out the fucking window.
Oh no, 1's a terrible game to try to play nowadays.
Yeah,
it's
the
a little
last
awful
thing I wanted to do is jump into 3 when I literally have zero idea what the fuck the story's about.
It recaps everything pretty well for you.
It's crazy.
I'm honestly, I'm good. I'm good.
Store, good night.
Good night, Store.
Night Store.
Yeah,
I have just such zero. I have no desire to play Kingdom Hearts or even.
That's why I feel like they need to do
it.
something really new with a reboot, if you want to call it that. Because like we had like what 9 games in this original Kingdom Hearts saga. Like yeah, I think you fulfilled that fan base. Like can't we
That's only
try
the
and branch out a
Xandor
little bit now?
saga. We got more now.
Yeah, branch out. Like try to appease the original fan base in some way, but try and bring in the Denny's as well of the world.
You're not going to be able to get me in there. I'm sorry.
What if Disney is not a focus? What if it's instead Final Fantasy? What if it's got worlds from Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy 9 and 7 and 15? And...
No.
No, still no. Okay.
No. Honestly, and I'm sure you're going to tell me like I'm wrong, I literally can't stand like the sugary like outlook in all the games. And I'm sure there's like some parts to it where they all of a sudden like try to do like a big sad or something about. I just can't get into it.
Local curmudgeon, everybody. Denny.
It's like, but you got me in this 7. All right.
Yeah,
You
I
got
did.
7.
I told
all right?
you.
So that's all you're getting.
All right. I'll take it.
That's it.
That's the one I wanted, so I'm okay with it. And Capcom, one here as well. Resident Evil 4 Remake, Street Fighter 6, Dragon's Dogma 2, and Monster Hunter 6. None of those really a surprise, but
Nope.
still kind of cool. I hope the one thing I hope for, well, two things I think: Chrono Cross remaster, Final Fantasy 9 remake. Please, yes. Skull and Bones is not dead, you guys. It's up on screen right now, actually. We're gonna kind of speed run this as we should, but this game is trying to be salvaged. It seems like
It needs to be.
Yeah, so there are going to be 5 tiers of ships, small, medium, large, categorized and everything. Buying a blueprints for a ship is a part of it. You upgrade your ship, you grow your ship. Like, this is a pirate simulator, is what it is. Like, you start from scratch and you are growing up to become like an infamous pirate in this world. It has a story, it has a narrative. Like, this is much more ambitious than I think they were originally going for.
Yeah, the first initial run of this was just the Black Flag combat system essentially, and it was multiplayer, and it would be you would do some plunders, but then like you might have other players come in and try to steal your plunder, and that would be where all the PvP stuff and everything like that. This is definitely much more of an actual progression system in this, and it's weird.
You can upgrade your ship at any time as long as you have money. So obviously pillaging and all that is important. I'm sure finding bounties and booties and all that. Adding extra armor, smeltery storage boxes to your ship. Another part of the building it all out. Coast of Azania, Mozambique is a location on the map. You start game as a nobody, building a raft, and then eventually a small fishing boat where you can explore the open sea. I mean, some of this sounds kind of cool to me, honestly.
Sea of Thieves came and ate its lunch, and then that's kind of where like this game I think really got a step back, because like what they were going to launch was not going to take it.
Overall, the game is not near completion, but is reported to be in a decent spot with a lot of good combat. Middle of the map is a big open sea and can take some good AFK time to sail across. Unlocking different ships tied to blueprints. Game is now PvPvE. What does that even mean, Vince?
No, it's what it means. It's going to be you'll have your environmental targets that you'll go through, but then you'll also have players who could come and fight you as well. So you're synergizing all that. That's what you're saying. That's what you're synergizing those type of aspects.
Here's a bummer for me. There's no combat on land. There's only combat on the water.
On the ship. Yep.
That's kind of a bummer. What do you guys think?
It just sounds like World of Tanks and water.
Right, that kind of defeats what was built up prior to this. It's like, oh man, like this is a pirate simulator.
Yeah.
Like you're making this, you're going from nothing to hero, as a pirate.
Yeah.
But if you can't be a pirate on land in combat, that kind of takes out a huge part of it for me.
Well, that was never going to be the thing to begin with. The game was only ever just literally you load up a map, there's your target.
And that's why a lot of people weren't interested, though.
Right,
and now
that's what I'm saying.
they're teasing this. It's like, oh wait, maybe they're gonna make this into something we all want. And then that line isn't there. And it's like, wait a sec, this is still just World of Tanks on water. As Denny said, I agree. That's a bummer. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on. This is interesting in some weird ways. Kojima thinks Deathloop would make him motion sick. He tweeted out saying, Deathloop, it's a time loop game with an interesting system. I want to play it, but it's an FPS and I'll probably get 3D sick. So let's put something out right now. He's not specifically talking about the field of vision and all that being what it is on Deathloop. He just says it's an FPS and I'll get 3D sick. So the implication there is he can't play first-person shooters. Hideo Kojima.
That's
which
weird
then leads me to say, wow, I guess that means we're never going to get anything in that vicinity from him. Why would he ever work on a game that makes him motion sick?
Right, it's weird, and it's also funny how that's why they decided to do PT in the first-person perspective, even though that was much more, and there's much more mechanics like that still based in for Metal Gear, though. So it is interesting to see that he can't do the higher octane, if quote unquote, of FPS. It's strange.
Yeah. But he specifically said he could do certain things. Like he was in gymnastics and He sat at the front of the bus. I get sick on swings at amusement parks. I couldn't go on the teacups, Viking rides, flying carpets, octopus rides, or anything that's spun. Roller coasters are fine. All right. I'm kind of that way too as I get older. It's real depressing. I've been going on some rides with the girls at Ocean City, and anything that spins now gets me. I never used to be that way. I could go on anything. But now things that spin start making me nauseous, and it's like, really? Is this happening to me? Am I becoming my dad? Like,
Probably.
seriously? Rumor. Well, actually, let's start with the official. Anthony Mackie will star in Twisted Metal TV series. Polygon writes, the series will follow Mackie as John Doe, a wisecracking milkman hired to deliver a package across a post-apocalyptic world. Along his journey, he'll meet some of Twisted Metal's most famous characters, including Sweet Tooth, the demonic clown with the flaming head, and his ice cream truck, and probably a few new faces as well. John Doe in Twisted Metal Black was an unremarkable driver of the car Roadkill, whose defining characteristics were his amnesia and his tattoos. What is this, JRPG? Other than some of the characters, it doesn't seem like the new series will take many cues from the video games they're based on, other than the premise. Then again, the Twisted Metal franchise, which had its last entry in 2012, was always more about the idea of vehicular destruction and chaos than the story to begin with, which leads us to the rumor that a Twisted Metal game is in early development. Jeff Grubb, who is very trustworthy, I will say, has confirmed this.
Cumsock.
Cumsock himself. Lady Cumsock.
Lady Cumsock. That's what he calls it.
What do we want Twisted Metal to be if they're rebooting it?
What do we want it to be?
Yeah, what do we want it to be? What makes sense in today's gaming landscape for Twisted Metal?
A World of Tanks model.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree. I don't think you can get by with just what it used to be. I think you at least have to take on Battle Royale or,
Well, that's what it would be, like a Battle Royale, but like I said, that like online model like against everybody.
Okay, all right. So, but you agree? I think going the Battle Royale perspective makes sense for Twisted Metal. Seasonal passes, lots of cosmetic.
Yeah, 100%.
DLC, make it free to play, right? You got to make it free to play.
If they made it free to play, they would probably make a good amount of money. People trying to play it.
Do you think they make it less edgelordy?
No, they better not.
But
well, there's a difference.
That's a thing,
do you mean black edgelord or do you mean like before black edgelord? Because there are two completely different Twisted Metals born out of both of those.
All I'll say is I think the reason a lot of people aren't into Twisted Metal is because of the edgelordy nature of it. And I think that is something that would be a problem for it as a free-to-play title, as I think it would be a barrier of entry of like, I just don't like the atmosphere of this game. Now, I'm not saying you make it sunshine and rainbows, but...
Well, I mean, the original series wasn't really sunshine and rainbows either, but I think that and especially like the color palette and at least like what they were trying to do in it was a little bit more less edgelord, but I mean, again, it was also the 90s, so it was.
I think you can make it something a little more colorful, a little bit more stylistic than what we saw in 2012 or with Black. I don't think it needs to be so drab and gray and gothic or edgelordy. I think there's avenues they can take to make it a little bit more diverse.
And they can still make costume packs that are the black versions of the characters.
Right.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. You guys voting in chat saying free to play Battle Royale with seasonal passes. Everybody's voting the same. I agree. Moving on. Nintendo Switch receives a price cut, but only in Europe. So it went down from $299 to $250, $999. Do you guys think we're going to get a price drop in America anytime soon now that the OLED model is out? Like, what's going on there?
Nintendo being Nintendo.
Nintendo being Nintendo.
So wait, the data behind this, did the Switch lose momentum in Europe? Like, did it?
Oh god.
That's the thing that I'm wondering because I know
it hasn't lost it in America. That's for damn sure.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to adjust pricing quite yet until it starts losing momentum. Which I just can't remember if I feel like in Europe it like lost a little bit, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, Marty O'Donnell has been found in contempt of court over Destiny assets. I'm going to let you take this one. I'm not even going to read it. Vince, tell me about this.
So here's the thing: both sides of the story of this are just stupid. um, O'Donnell's been kind of an ass. Bungie was also kind of an ass for pretty much just like just going after him with that. Essentially, what Marty did was after he got ousted from Bungie, they had this whole project called Music of the Spears that they did for Destiny 1 and everything like that. And he just went and started selling like sketches of it on like Bandcamp and whatnot, and it's still assets from Bungie. And he just did this. So the story would actually require more to kind of do in conjunction here, but just I don't know. It's so dumb. It's incredibly stupid of both parties. But the more and more that keeps coming out, like everyone used to hate Bungie for this, but the more and more that O'Donnell keeps doing is making people like feel less and less worse for him now. And I think it is interesting too because you know Microsoft could have picked up this man for Halo Infinite, and they chose not to. And I think it says a lot.
Yeah, that does say a lot. That's for damn sure. Yeah. His music is really good, though.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 7 campaign mode requires an online connection. Always online.
Okay.
They say it's because of cheating. Prevent cheating overall from people trying to modify the save data. Good enough reason for you, Vince?
Yeah. I mean, if with how they did what with sport and everything like that, everyone had brought up what they did with sport. It's not only what they're doing, it's literally it's regulated by what they want to try to do for the actual official times and everything like that. Do I think there could be an offline mode for it? Absolutely. But yeah, I could see why they are just going the easy way and not trying to come up with another system for it. If you want to finish up the story,
I mean,
I'm
are
sorry.
we still in a world where this is as offensive as it was when Xbox was pushing it early 2013, you know?
Yeah,
Do you think
that's the thing
we've gotten to the point worldwide that this is okay now?
well, the thing that I don't, when people bring that up, people like tend to forget that like the whole Xbox system was an entire DRM, as in like
Yeah.
you did not connect it for 24 hours, you lost access to everything.
Right.
Period. Here, you're playing a game that, like, I see people like say like they bring up like the rural areas and on like unstable internet connection and everything like that, and it's like that's it's still not really kind of an excuse to me anymore now. It's weird because like there's an entitlement there. I do want to realize that, but I just at this day and age, I don't think it's a huge issue. However, I do wish that they would kind of work on offline mode because it does seem like that should be something that should be done.
Former Capcom USA and Europe CEO Kichiro Yorata has joined Sony Interactive Entertainment. This guy was CEO during a time with some big titles, especially towards the end. He was a part of the resurgence of Capcom, starting with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, moving on to Marvel vs. Capcom and Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Village, all those. I mean, this guy was a part of all that. And it's interesting to me at a time where people are criticizing Sony for them leaving Japan behind. They bring in this name that was strongly associated with some very major Japanese releases, and maybe it's a hopeful thing for the future of Sony Japan and how they prioritize that or how much they care about it, right? Just a little thing.
Show of good grace kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I just still think they're just restructuring that entire thing. I think it's really what it comes into. That was my instinct was the entire time, and everything that I keep seeing from them is pointing to that.
There's a rumor going around, confirmed by Jeff Grubb, Lady Comstock himself,
Really
that
weird.
Quantic Dream is working on a Star Wars game. The rumor started with a YouTuber who claimed on September 16th that the French studio has made a deal with Disney for a Star Wars game following the end of its 3-year game publishing exclusivity agreement with Sony, which we'll talk about in a moment. Quantic Dream's Twitter account liked it and then didn't like it. They removed the like. Kotaku has heard the same from a third separate source with knowledge of the studio's development plans. According to this individual, Quantic Dream has indeed been working on a Star Wars game for a year and a half already, but it won't be the conventional type of QuickTime event-driven game we've come to expect. It will be more traditional action gameplay and possibly even open world with multiplayer elements. Why are we shaking our heads?
I just how do I explain this? I don't see the studio making this game, like, and it being good. If that
It
makes
was
it,
the last studio I expected. That's for sure.
that's I think that's a thing for me is that like this is way out of their wheelhouse, which I'm always about for creators and developers for going out of their wheelhouse, but it just doesn't feel like this is going to stick the landing.
Yeah, it's a weird development.
Choice, yeah,
It's especially weird because they're not doing what they've become been known to do. Like, right? Like
right.
they are known for narrative driven branching experiences, quick time events, all that. And they're brought on board Star Wars to do a game that they're not accustomed to. One that,
Right.
as we're about to talk about, didn't work out for them when they were working with PlayStation. Let's get to that. Let's get to that actually. They were working on something more action based, more open world based than Detroit Become Human originally. It was in development for almost 2 years and was canceled by Sony. And they told them, we want you to work on that Project Kara demo and turn that into something. So they weren't able to make it work with a more open world action focused game with PlayStation. And now Star Wars is allowing them the reins on that type of game in one of the most important IPs of all time. It's weird. It's definitely surprising at the least. Um, the other part of this that is not too surprising. Originally, Detroit Become Human was supposed to have 4 protagonists. The 4th protagonist was a whore android that had blonde hair and huge booba. The 4th protagonist and some of the scenarios with it resulted in Sony wanting to wrap up the 3-game deal as soon as possible.
You know what's interesting now is like seeing the story out now. It finally gives me the context of like why I understand why Sony kind of just pretty much just dropped them.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Like when the game came out, they had like that good like solid like month long like blitz of like yeah look our new PlayStation 4 game is fantastic, right? And after that it was like nope, we're good. It's strange.
There must have been a
And
lot of behind the scenes stuff that Sony was not happy with.
no,
I
especially
mean,
everything
as
that's
we
coming
know,
out
they
now
did
with
all
the
this
whole
stuff
French.
yeah, what was happening with like the pictures being posted around the office and all that. That in combination with this story. And here's the thing: the horror android thing, not a problem in its essence.
No,
There's actually
there's
potential for some really good stuff to be done there. The problem is, if this is to be believed, the scenarios they were creating were raising eyebrows. And when you take that into the context of what came afterwards from Detroit Become Human in the studio and how people were treated in the office, it's like, okay, there's something wrong
yeah,
internally with how they treat this subject matter.
yep,
And that's the problem, is that they would not have done this with tact or
nope,
respect or any type of finesse whatsoever. It would have been like most David Cage things, it would have been beating you over the head with a freaking hammer.
yeah,
And that's what it would have been. I like Detroit Become Human, and it's his best game for sure. Partially because he didn't write the whole thing.
right,
He had outside help on that one, and that's why it wasn't as heavy-handed. But Heavy Rain is heavy-handed as shit.
yep.
And so is Beyond Two Souls, actually, for that matter. So yeah, I think I hope it's good. Don't be wrong. I hope this is great. I would love to see a great Star Wars game, especially with how visually impressive Detroit Become Human was. I would love to see that brought
Yeah.
to next gen with Star Wars. So I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, I'm going to keep my expectations low in the story department, I guess you could say. And the final story we alluded to earlier with Perfect Dark. The initiative is partnering with Crystal Dynamics for development on Perfect Dark. This is not outsourcing. I wouldn't call it
Yeah.
that. This is a collaboration. This is dual development
Yep.
of this project now. Now they're trying to they're portraying this in a positive light. So I'm curious if you guys feel it is a positive thing. I know kind of how you feel, Vince. I'm going to go to Denny first. What do you think of this, Denny?
I think is Vince's point about it. What happens with Avengers?
No, it's not. It's
No.
that, but it's also
Because
other things as well.
that's what I'm concerned about. Because I know Avengers has this big roadmap of what they want to do and what they want to keep doing. Like Crystal Dynamics has for Avengers, and it's like, is this going to get in the way of that? Because I know, there was all the leaks about all the characters they want to add to it, and that's a lot to keep putting into this game down the road. So are they gonna have? Is that work gonna suffer because of this work on this project? That's really
Yeah,
it.
that's
It's
certainly one part of it.
yeah, it's the other thing too about it that's weird to me is it's kind of what Drew said there. This isn't a outsource thing, which a lot of people were trying to go, oh, game development companies they outsource all the time. This is different. The weird thing is we don't know where the structure of this is, and it's also weird too with the initiative because like if this is supposed to be, even though people have apparently corrected themselves on this, it's supposed to be a AAA studio for Microsoft to make these games. They're supposed to stay light and small. They're supposed to only have like around 70 people. What happens here? Are they going to be? Who is taking up the actual like project leads here? Is it the initiative, and then like they're directing like CD to do all this type of stuff, and then where does the workforce for that come in on top of that? Because like CD is big. Don't get me wrong. CD is big. I did not realize they had two satellite studios. But when you have a games of the service title in Avengers, and this is just to get rid of any I'm just saying this as straight up facts. So like that a games of the service requires development team. Fortnite, Apex, they all require manpower. So you're not going to do a games of the service title if you're taking away your manpower. Massive games deals is with Division. You can see what happened with Division 2. Secondly, if you're going to try to do more with Tomb Raider, who is leading on that type of project? And right now, there's been talks about like it's just going to be a remaster for the anniversary. Okay, so you have that entire thing then too. Then you apparently also have a third IP being worked at that studio as well.
Yep.
And it's really, really bizarre. And that was the one thing that Mike has brought up too in the chat. They were supposed to be like the dream team, right?
They
It
are
was
when you take
lots
into
of ways.
what is there. Here's the thing: maybe they have 50 people, right? Which isn't a very big team for a huge AAA big scale project. But when you have that level of talent there, why are they working on Perfect Dark huge enormous scale then? Why did they not put them on a little bit of a smaller scale project but with like really high production value and have that be their first foray and just organically build the studio? This is really weird for all the reasons Vince just said because of the post release of it all. Like how does that all go? It's just weird to me that they built this dream team and they put them on a project that they couldn't be a dream team for.
So like, and then here's the other thing too. Like, if the goal from Microsoft is to have this team to be this mobile team that's going to be making these games, because like let's be real, let's list this out. Perfect Dark is supposed to be this episodic game. It's supposed to have these like service E style like events going on with it. Was it apparently is what that's supposed to be. And the other thing too is the initiative has already had people leave. That's like the weird thing to me is what we had people who get hired and then they have left already because stuff hasn't really rotated yet.
In some ways, they've gone back to where they came from too.
Right, and the other thing too for me is like this also tells me that Microsoft's internal pipeline right now still needs a lot of work. It's not to the level of like what Sony or Nintendo does with their internal studios with this entire support system.
Well, I think it shows the strength of Sony's support studios. So many people don't give them credit for that. They say 15 studios, and they're neglecting that they have 4 or 5 very impressive support studios that are, in some ways, the backbone of why they are able to release these amazing games in a pretty good timeline. People are saying like, oh, Sony does the same thing. Yeah, Sony does do the same thing. And they have these support studios that they've built up over decades now to help with that. It's not the same as them reaching out to its own individual studio from a completely different publisher. That's so different. It's so different than what Sony does.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean,
it could turn out great. Don't get me wrong. It's just weird.
It's really weird, especially in this type of context. And the only reason why I think this even happened was because David Gallagher, who was the head of the initiative, was the head of CD when they made Tomb Raider. So that seems to be really the only reason why this happened. And I just think it's still strange. I still think it's weird.
It is weird. And that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you for being a part of this episode of Next Level Gamescast. If you enjoyed the show, Please join us again live next month. Hit that heart button here at twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. Turn notifications. Make sure you get alerts whenever we go live with variety gaming or talk shows. If you're watching the archived episode, please subscribe on YouTube. Turn on the bell. Also very, very important, as you saw tonight, do a lot of Discord stuff. Get on there. Become a part of the community. When we're not live, that is discord.gg/The Level Up Network. Season 3 is wrapping up. Lots of fun Season 4 stuff on its way. You can take part in Fake Fans, NLG's Got Game, How You Reviewin, Halftime Hedge, all that good stuff is there. So please join us, become a part of this community. And I will take this. Tom normally does with his boisterous voice, but I will take this. We do have some major shout outs. We must thank those that support the show going above and beyond on Patreon or on Twitch. That means $25 and above. We have our executive producers producing at $50. That is Store Norwegian Yeller, I want to say, is at 50. Am I right on that? I know I'm drawing a blank. He's still at 50, right?
Yeah.
I think he's still at 50. And Sherry, White Topaz. I want to say those two are at 50. So, no, I apologize. It's Baz. Sorry about that. Store, thank you so much for what you do. $25. It's Baz because Brock is both a $25 patron and a $25 sub here. So $50 in support from Brock, making him an executive producer, and Sherry as well is a $50 patron. So she is an executive producer of the show, White Topaz. But a huge thank you as well to our producers, Norwegian Yeller, Asian Vincent 4756, and Duroc 11. We appreciate you guys so much. It's a huge help towards keeping this show going and improving this show. I just put out some stupid money. I'll say that. I put out stupid money for what I'm working on right now. It's the dumbest thing I've ever done. But we just got like $250 in tips and 85 subs from oh god, drawing blank on his name last month or this month, and I was like, you know what? All right, let's spend some stupid money.
Stupid money.
So I'm excited to reveal it to you guys. But that is it, guys. Let's wrap this show up. That is season 3, episode 3. One down, another one down. Many more to go. Season 4 on the way, but that is not all. We do have one more level, ladies and gentlemen. Each episode of Next Level Gamescast will end with a final word, and I think, I don't know if we ever got confirmation on this, but I think we're going to go to brand new co-host, part of season 4, loyal, or what is the word for it? I'm sorry, local curmudgeon. Denny, do you have a final word for us tonight, Denny? Your first episode of Next Level Gamescast, you're about to come in as a 3-episode stint on season 4. You have any final words for us tonight?
Yeah, Skyrim's better than Edith Finch, and you fucking know it.
Wow.
This is not what I wanted. You're making me regret this decision already.
Yeah.
You gave me the floor.
You're making me regret this decision. I brought you in.
Rick says talk about Nintendo fans, and I totally would, but I don't think they could even hear or anything. So.
God damn. Cut this part of the show out. It's okay. Sorry. Towards the end, it's easy. It's easy to cut this out. No big deal. All right. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to see you back for the start of season 4 next month. That is October 4th, or sorry, 24th. I apologize. That is the 4th Sunday, as always, of every month. So come back, hit that follow button, turn on notifications, make sure you get alerts whenever we go live. And we will see you when we take things to the next level. Until then, wait a sec. I don't want to stop this yet. Because we do have after show.
We do.
So real quick, we have after show and we have giveaways. Let's find out who wins the t-shirt giveaways. First up, Evil Resonance. Congratulations,
Nice.
Resonance, getting one of the Gauntlets t-shirts. And can I do 2? I hope I can do 2. Yes, I can, and it's Store. Awesome.
Wow.
Nice. Not a bomber jacket. But Resonance and Store will get the Gaming Gauntlet t-shirts. That is awesome. That is so cool. And we hit 2 of our goals tonight. I do not count follow goal. That is not real. We did not get 30 follows tonight. So let me do 2 goal wheel spins while we still have 26 people in the room. For hitting our daily sub goal, we are going to give out 500? 500. Almost at 900, but 500. Wait for it to drop in the chat, and then we'll do another spin if we can get a little bit more than 500 for this next one. Wait for it. Vince, thank you so much for the $30 tip so we can do
Yeah,
after show.
absolutely.
We are coming back with 30 minutes of after show. Could become 60 minutes with $60 in tips, but we will be back so after the credits, so do not go anywhere. Here's another wheel spin, goal wheel spin for hitting our daily tip goal, courtesy of Vince. And everybody in the room gets, don't do 500. Yes, nice. 2,000 seasonal
Ooh.
points
You're welcome,
to the
everyone.
entire room. Wait, Store's back. I thought he left. Where'd you
He's
go from,
awake.
Store?
He's
He's
watching
always
it while he
awake.
falls asleep, which means that he's not going to sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. All right. Now that is the end of the show. Thank you again to everybody for watching. Thank you to Denny for filling in for Tom tonight. Really excited to bring you
Yep.
on.
I will,
show
and
for
I
a
will
season.
not be able to make up to after the after show.
No worries.
I do
No
have
worries.
work
Sounds good.
early tomorrow, and the dog needs to go out again. He's up my ass right now. So
Get out of here. Get out of here.
thank
Get
you,
some
Get outta
thank you
here.
so much for having me, guys.
Yep.
Absolutely,
Get
man.
some sleep. Good night, man.
Good night.
And to everybody else, stick around for after show. We'll be right back. Until next time, take care. And as always, don't forget to level up, everybody.
Level up. Boop, boop, boop.